And through the evening tonight, we are going to be doing extended live weather updates here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7 as we are tracking storms moving in from Alabama and just now beginning to cross over the state line into northwest Georgia. And it's for that reason that we have an 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect through the evening hours tonight until about maybe 1 or 2 in the morning as we're tracking these stronger storms that are going to be moving in. These are the main impacts we're going to be watching. The potential for some high wind, hail, also the potential for some pockets of heavy rain. We're going to have thunder and lightning, and then also a very low risk for an isolated brief spin-up tornado. So far, we have had multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect over into Alabama. There have been a couple of tornado warnings in northern Mississippi and into the western parts of Alabama. But as of right now, no tornado warnings are in effect there. And what we're hoping is that as this system moves in and we lose the heating of the day once the sun goes down, which now with with daylight time, it is at 7:40. So the sun is about to set out there right now. We hope that these storms will begin to lose a little bit of their punch as they move in. However, we want you to stay aware and be weather aware through the evening hours. Of course, that's why we're doing these live updates, to give you an opportunity to see what's happening out there weather-wise if you start seeing rain or start hearing thunder in your area and watching these storms that are moving in. We also have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. All right, so in Alabama, that time would be at 10 o'clock. But as you can see here, parts of West Georgia, these counties that border or that are right along the Georgia and Alabama line, those are the counties included in this watch. And the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center are saying it could be likely that this watch is extended closer to the metro Atlanta area. It all depends on what they're doing right now is analyzing what is happening back into Alabama, and if these storms were to hold together or even get a little bit stronger, they may extend that watch to include metro Atlanta or more counties and parts of West Georgia. And they're telling us about 10 minutes ago, they sent us an update saying that we should know within the hour whether or not that watch is going to be extended. So if it is, we will definitely have that for you. But it includes all of North Alabama to Birmingham and south of Birmingham. And then again, Cleburne and Randolph County here, you're included in that watch, as well as these counties right on the Georgia-Alabama line. Dade County, Walker County, Chattooga County, Floyd, Polk, Haralson, Carroll County, Heard County, and also there into Troup County near LaGrange. Those are all the counties in Georgia that are included in this severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 11:30 tonight. So here is what we are watching. In Atlanta, we're fine right now, but what we're seeing now, clouds increasing here in the city. We've had a lot of sunshine this afternoon, but now that we're getting into the evening hours and this system is getting closer to us in advance of the rain, we're seeing the clouds that are building in here in metro Atlanta right now. Then go up into northwest Georgia, and that's where you see here the rain is beginning to push in. And I want to show you first, widen out and show you North Alabama and also Mississippi. Now we have additional storms in southern Mississippi too that we're keeping an eye on. This is the entire complex. This is called a mesoscale convective system, or an MCS, a cluster of storms traveling over multiple states, holding together pretty well with some severe storms with it and some convection there with it. And it's been going over from northern Mississippi into parts of northern Alabama. Now, this near Huntsville, this is the part that's about to move into northwest Georgia, and we're already seeing here some of the rain, nothing really strong yet, but some of the rain coming into northwest Georgia. The stronger storms are still back in Alabama, and that's about to move in over the line there in northwestern Georgia. And it's extending down into Birmingham. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have right now is this one back on the Mississippi and Alabama line in the western parts of Alabama. We did have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings with this earlier up around Huntsville and in northern Alabama. So when I look at this, I have actually been seeing signs of weakening with this system as it's getting closer to us. However, the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service is saying we still have the potential that we could see some lines developing out of this as this continues moving into northwest Georgia and then moving through Alabama. that we could still see some lines developing with that, and maybe some bowing sections of those lines. Whenever you see bowing within a line of storms moving in, that's an indicator of some really strong winds. So even though I'm not seeing any additional severe thunderstorm warnings out there right now, don't let your guard down yet, because these storms still have the potential, as they move into some different buoyancy in different areas of Alabama and moving into Georgia, that we could see some individual parts of this that will still have the potential to turn strong. So we come in a little bit tighter here. We do see a lot of lightning with this. I'm going to show you the lightning count. You know what? Let me go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to pause this and put it into live mode. And I'm going to show you the lightning count with this. Earlier we had more than 500 lightning strikes. I'll include that here back on the Mississippi-Alabama line and coming into North Georgia. Earlier we had 500. Just a few minutes ago I checked this and we had about 354 lightning strikes. That's before I joined you at 7:30. Now it is showing 311. So this lightning count is coming down, and often that's an indicator of, you know, when you see the lightning strike numbers coming down, the storms are losing a little bit of strength. But I'm just showing you the trends that I'm seeing right now. But again, I don't want you to let your guard down, because these could ramp back up, and we could see, you know, some individual lines developing here along this. And depending on the atmosphere when it moves into Georgia, we could see the storms getting a little bit stronger. So that's why we're doing these updates. We want to let you know what we're seeing going on with these storms as they continue to move on through. Here is a live look right now at Rome. This is our tower cam there in Northwest Georgia. This is live, even though the flags aren't moving. I see a car at the bottom, they're moving. So yes, this is live. It's not a static shot here. And you can see, we've been watching the clouds that have been building up in Northwest Georgia ahead of this system, but no rain, no storms there right now. Just continuing to watch the clouds thicken up, but rain is going to be coming soon there in Georgia and up around Rome. This is a live look over the city of Atlanta. This is where we have still some sun that's out there. It's about to go down. The sun is about to go down. We had a nice blue sky here just a few minutes ago. Now we're starting to see a few clouds trickling into the metro Atlanta area. And this will be another good vantage point here. This is way up on our broadcast tower over on Arizona Avenue, right over the DeKalb County line, looking back toward the city there westward. And you can see how those clouds are increasing now, looking over toward the west. And that's going to be the trend continuing through the evening hours out there for tonight. Now, this is what developed here during the afternoon hours. If you were watching Chesley this morning, he was telling you about the level 1 risk that was coming into parts of North Georgia and West Georgia. And the level 2 risk was staying over into Alabama. The National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center actually extended this level 2 risk to include much of West Georgia up to the Atlanta area, because what they were seeing there from the modeling was indicating that we could have some instability still, even into the evening hours after the sun goes down, when this cluster of storms, or this MCS, is going to be moving in. So they included much of West Georgia right up to Atlanta in that level 2 risk. And a level 2 risk means that conditions are a little more likely for a few more scattered, stronger thunderstorms to develop. Not all of them will be severe, but a few thunderstorms could be severe there. And that's what we've been dealing with back into Alabama and also back into Mississippi. The level 1 risk is for much of North Georgia and areas to the east of us, because by the time those storms get there, we think the atmosphere is going to be a little more stable. That's going to be most likely midnight and after, once those storms move over to the east of the city, where, again, our atmosphere is going to be more stable. Temperatures are still going to be mild in the 60s, but just not that heat like we had earlier today when temperatures made it into the 70s. So that's what we're still watching. Again, we could see enough instability here and for this convection to fire up with those storms that are moving in. So that's what we're mainly going to be watching. So these are the main risks that we want you to be prepared for. The heavy rain and the wind risk is what is strongest, but it's a moderate risk that you're going to experience some of those pockets of heavy rain and maybe some strong winds that could be damaging winds, all right? The tornado risk is very low, all right? I don't think this is going to be a tornado outbreak or anything that will be moving into our area there for this evening, but there's a low risk for a brief spin up that could happen. And we've already had a couple of, actually a few tornado warnings back in the Mississippi coming into western parts of Alabama with some spin that was indicated within some of those storms. So we're going to be on the lookout for that as these storms move through. But it's not going to be anything widespread or, you know, an EF3 or EF4, EF5 or anything like that. It would be a brief spin up that could happen there. So we're watching for that possibility. Also, hail is on the lower end of the risk, but it's not very low. There could be some hail with some of these storms as they continue to push in tonight. Now, here's the interesting thing I want you to watch here for the daytime hours on Tuesday. In fact, let me move over to the key and I can point out some of this stuff here to you. Tomorrow, there may be just a couple lingering showers early in the morning, but I'm really thinking that most of the day is going to be dry. We're including just a 20% chance for an isolated shower here through the day on Tuesday. But then there's another system that we're going to be watching out to the west that will start getting its act together here. And there's a large area, including a lot of states here with a level 2 or even level 3 risk for severe storms. You see the tan color back into Texas, as well as up into areas of Missouri, moving into Illinois and also into parts of Indiana as well. Where there's a level 3 risk. Now we have to watch this because on Wednesday that moves closer to us. Now I really think that a big part of the daytime hours on Wednesday will be dry, but this is going to be another system coming in late Wednesday, mainly overnight into early on Thursday, where we will have to watch for the potential for some storms that could turn strong. Right now we're at a level 1 risk. But again, with this coming in during the overnight hours, we're hoping that our atmosphere is going to be a little more stable and not as hot, that those storms will start to diminish somewhat. Now, we're still in the mid-70s here now, 77 in Eatonton, 76 in Athens. It's been warmer to the south and west of us. So we're still holding on to some of that heat as the sun is just now going down out there. And what we're going to watch is the main chance for some of those stronger storms that would be with us really in metro Atlanta, let's say 10 o'clock to midnight, maybe to 1 o'clock in the morning before that all moves to the east of us. And then it would just be some general showers passing on through with those temperatures falling down into the 60s. So here's the timeline. I know you're interested in this timeline as these storms are beginning to move on in. So as you see right now, we've been watching some of those storms, that leading edge moving into northwest Georgia. Once we get to 9 o'clock, they could start turning a little bit stronger. You can see those pockets of red and orange and yellow indicating the more moderate to heavy rain. And this model is showing this holding together pretty well coming into Atlanta. And so this is at midnight where we would see some of those storms, as we mentioned, 10 o'clock to midnight to about 1 o'clock in the morning over us here in the metro Atlanta. Those could be strong with that potential for pockets of heavy rain, thunder and lightning. Hail is possible with some of those too. By 1:30, the leading edge and the strongest storms move to the east of us, and then we see just general rain, showers overnight, and a couple of lingering showers in the morning before everything starts to taper off and conditions will improve into the afternoon hours here on Tuesday. And then into Wednesday, a few more clouds. Most of the daytime hours on Wednesday look to be dry as well, but then that next round of storms coming in overnight Wednesday and into Thursday. So let me show you the 7-day outlook here right now, and you can see what we're going to be watching with improving conditions on Tuesday. I'm going to show you radar again after the 7-day. Conditions improving on Tuesday. Wednesday, we get up to 83 degrees, and then that next system overnight Wednesday into Thursday will bring in some cooler air. We're going to have a high of only 61 on Thursday, 68 on Friday, and then the weekend looking good. Mostly sunny skies, highs near 76 Saturday, 79 on Sunday, and then another chance for rain that'll be moving in here going into your Monday. So that's the 7-day. I'm going to show you another look before I take a little break here. I want to show you another look here at radar just to make sure we're not seeing anything else changing here. It's going to be okay for me to take a little break. What we're going to do when I sign off here in about 45 seconds or so, we are going to keep the radar loop up on the main channel here on 11 Alive Plus and on Weather Impact 24/7. So you can keep an eye on radar at any time here during the evening hours. I'm going to be breaking in to this feed on 11 Alive Plus for live updates. I'll do another one at 8 o'clock, then 8:30, then 9 o'clock, then 9:30, 10 o'clock, and 10:30. If it warrants, I won't even take a break. I'll just keep tracking these storms with you once these, the stronger storms start moving in, and I may stay on for a longer period of time there. And then, of course, if there are any tornado warnings that happen to be issued, we would break into programming on 11 Alive on television. So we're hoping we don't need anything like that out there tonight. We're hoping we don't have any tornado warnings, but I really think that it is possible that we could see some severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me pause this right now, and I want to go back to that same range that we had a minute ago. This is what we had earlier. Let me put this into live mode, and I want to compare, before I let you go here, I want to compare the lightning count one more time. Last time it was 300 and something. I don't remember exactly what it was. Now we're showing 259 lightning strikes. So just in the past 10 minutes, when I did the lightning count for you earlier, it was over 300. And so this is a good sign that the lightning count is coming down, showing a brief weakening trend. But as I told you a moment ago, and as the National Weather Service put out a little while ago, and the Storm Prediction Center put out a little while ago, that doesn't mean we can let our guard down yet, because we could see some individual bowing sections out of some of this rain and these storms that are moving through, and some of those could still turn strong. So keep it right here with us throughout the evening on 11 Alive Plus. Tell your friends, if you know somebody who's kind of anxious about weather, just say, hey, 11 Alive, you can check radar there anytime if you have 11 Alive Plus downloaded on your TV, and you can come and check radar at any time. And that's what we're going to have here for you through the evening hours tonight. So keep it right here on 11 Alive Plus. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to end this feed, and we will show you the radar over the next 15 minutes or so, 14 minutes or so now. And then I'll come back with you at 8 o'clock with another extended live update. So thanks for watching. We'll have much more for you coming up in just a little bit. Good evening. It is 8 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb with you live from the 11 Alive Streaming Weather Center as we are doing extended weather updates for you here throughout the evening hours tonight as we are tracking a cluster of thunderstorms in North Alabama right now, moving in to northwest Georgia. And it's for that reason that we have an 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect for our area through the evening hours tonight as we're tracking these storms that are going to be moving in. The main things we're going to be watching with this will be the potential for some high wind in some of those stronger storms, pockets of heavy rain possible. There is hail possible with some of these, and thunder and lightning with them too. A very low risk for an isolated brief spin-up tornado. So we want you to stay weather aware here through the evening hours tonight as we're tracking these storms moving in, and that is exactly why we are on live here on 11 Alive Plus with these extended weather updates here for you. We're going to be doing these. The planned times are at the top and bottom of each hour for 5, 10, 15 minutes or longer. And if these storms start getting any stronger and I need to stay on continuously here on 11 Alive Plus, I'll do that during the evening hours tonight. And then, of course, if there's a tornado warning, we would break in not only here on 11 Alive Plus, but on television on 11 Alive as well. Now, there is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for North Alabama, including Huntsville, Birmingham, just to the north of Montgomery. It comes over to Cleburne and Randolph County, Alabama. That's part of our viewing area. And then also extends over the state line into these counties here that you see right there on the Georgia and Alabama line. Up in northwest Georgia, Dade Walker County, you are in this tornado watch. It's going to be in effect until 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. So I'm giving you the Eastern time instead of the Central Time for this expiration here. Also coming down to Chattooga County, Floyd County, Polk County, Haralson County, Carroll County, Heard, as well as into Troup County down near LaGrange. Now, what we're watching, though, is this is the watch that's in effect until 11. The National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center are analyzing the storms and how they are holding together into Alabama. And they were saying that within the hour, we could see an extension of this watch possibly moving over into Atlanta. But that's all based on what we're seeing with, number one, what's happening in our atmosphere here with some of these, with what's going on with anything, within the upper levels there as these storms move in. That could strengthen these storms a little bit more. That is possible. Or if we're seeing weakening in North Alabama, which is what I'm seeing, some weakening in North Alabama right now, they may decide that they don't need to extend it. So that's the big if that we're seeing right now. And again, the National Weather Service told us that we should know within the hour whether or not this watch is going to be expanded or a new one would be issued, possibly to include more counties, possibly over into Metro Atlanta. So that's kind of what we're watching right now as we see this main area of rain that is pushing in to northwest Georgia right now. As you can see, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings with this right now. We just have this leading edge starting off as light rain that's already come through Floyd County. That leading edge coming into Polk County, a little bit of that into Haralson County, right along I-20 at the Alabama line and just north of that. That leading edge also into parts of Gordon County and also into Whitfield County here, Murray County, and here in northwest Georgia, Dade, Walker, Chattooga, Floyd County as well. We're beginning to see some lightning coming into northwest Georgia. There is more of this, though, back into Alabama. Look at this area that we have to keep a close eye on. Now, I want to show you, I'm going to zoom back into this in just a second here, but I want to show you the whole complex. This is the main cluster that we're watching in North Alabama right now. But we also have storms extending back through Mississippi into the northern parts of Louisiana. If you can see that red polygon there in northern Louisiana, there's a tornado warning right there. So this, though, is the main cluster we're watching. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning over in western Alabama. If you'll recall, when I was with you between 7:30 and 7:45, North Alabama didn't have any severe thunderstorm warnings at that time. So we have a new one there in the western parts of Alabama. What I want you to see here, though, look at this red part right here, all right? That is, this has been kind of like a loosely organized system with severe weather. And I don't want to say it was disorganized, but this is a MCS, a mesoscale convective system here. What we have to watch through the rest of the evening hours is that instead of seeing individual areas of red and individual storms, And the National Weather Service is telling us that this is what could be happening. And what we need to watch is this line here, if that could develop into a more potent system here as it pulls together, and it could start bowing out, meaning kind of curving out. And that's usually an indicator of some strong winds. So that's the main thing that we're watching with this right now. And we are kind of seeing this kind of congealing a little bit, if you want to use that word, of that line that is developing here in parts of northeast Alabama. And this is about to cross over Interstate 59. And whether or not that is going to hold together moving into parts of northwest Georgia. So that's why these western counties really need to keep an eye on this. And that is why, if this does develop and get stronger and becoming more of a bowing section of that line, that might encourage the Storm Prediction Center and National Weather Service to extend that watch to include more counties. Now, one thing is in our favor here. The sun just went down around 7:40. Remember, we're in daylight saving time now, and the sun just went down. So we'll start to see the temperatures starting to come down a little bit as it gets dark, and that would help to hopefully stabilize our atmosphere a little bit more. And we would continue to see some weakening as this moves in. So that's why the timing is kind of in our favor here, but that's not a done deal. That's not a guarantee. A lot of times it's not just the temperatures that you watch, it's how buoyant the atmosphere is with the convection, the available potential energy there within these storms, as to whether or not these could ramp up a little bit more. So there you see that main part of that line. Let me make sure I'm not getting a new update in. Okay. From the National Weather Service. I'm following their chat right now. We have a way to chat with the meteorologists at the National Weather Service. And a lot of times they let us know, like, if this watch could possibly be expanded before the expansion actually happens. But I don't have any new anything from them right now. So what's going to be interesting to see, it looks like this is starting to come together a little bit more with a line developing that could connect with all this or even part of this, and make that line a little bit bigger and more impressive, and that could make this system a little bit stronger. So that's what we're going to have to be watching into the late night hours here as the whole system begins to move in. And most of the lightning is back here to the west of Interstate 59, but some of that now is extending into parts of northwest Georgia. Here is a live look in Rome. This is dark now. I want to put this up full screen so you can get a better look at this. I've been keeping an eye on this camera because we've been watching the clouds darken up and thicken up. Now, we were just showing you the green color there in Floyd County, but if you'll look down on the road where the cars are driving, it doesn't even really look that wet right now. We would normally be able to see the lights reflecting off wetness, but I do think that in a bit we're going to see more rain coming down. It could be very light and we just can't see it. Okay, now what I'm seeing here, okay, there's some lightning there with that too. Let me show you what I'm seeing right here. I'm going to move over to the key so I can point this out to you. In the street light right over here, all right, I want you to look under that street light right there. Can you see the raindrops coming down right there? So there is some rain coming down, even though the roads are just kind of getting damp. It's not like a really heavy rain coming down, but right there in that street light, you see that right there, you can see some of the raindrops coming down. And then right here, I know this is a dark sky, but there's a little bit of, we're able to see, there you see a couple of those raindrops. So in Rome, we're confirming now that some of this rain is coming down here. Not only were we seeing it on radar, but from our live camera here, we can see some of those raindrops that are coming down right now. And I do think it's going to be getting a little bit heavier there in Rome coming up soon. Here in Atlanta, we're still dry, but look in the sky there. Earlier, we were showing you a nice clear blue sky just a little while ago. Now we are seeing the clouds that are building in, but we don't have any rain with those clouds yet. And then another vantage point from on top of our broadcast tower there on Arizona Avenue, right over the DeKalb County line, looking back westward toward the city, more of those clouds that are evident here too. So back to the maps I want to point out here to you here on the monitor. The Storm Prediction Center earlier today expanded the level 2 risk area, that's level 2 of 5, to include West Georgia and also up to Atlanta. So earlier, the level 2 was way back here in Alabama, and we just had a bit of a level 1 coming into West Georgia. Then the National Weather Service expanded this level 2 risk coming up not only for all these counties in West Georgia, but pushing over to Atlanta for the evening hours tonight and even into overnight for that potential for these storms to turn strong. And a level 2 risk is a little bit higher than a level 1 risk. In a level 2 risk, there'd be a better chance for some more scattered showers and storms to develop, meaning it's possible for a few more of those to turn severe versus the level 1 where any severe storms would be more isolated and not as many of those around. And this kind of also correlates with the timing that West Georgia, the timing of this would bring it into West Georgia where we still have some heating of the day before it starts coming down and stabilizing more. Once it gets over here, we think that would be midnight or after, once the atmosphere has had the ability to get a little bit more stable here too. So, you know, we'll watch that to make sure that those will weaken as they continue moving on in. I want to go back here to, before I show you these storm threats, I want to show you, let me see if it's this map. Yes, I'm going to put this into live mode, and this is the loop, of course, that you're seeing. And we do have, there's still just one severe thunderstorm warning there. Now, what I did, if you were watching us last at 7:30 to 7:45, I was showing you the lightning count. Let me show this to you again. It was over 300 earlier. Now, let's see what it is. 287. So the lightning count came down a little bit, and then it started coming back up a little bit more. It's just under 300 right now, but it was less than 287 earlier. So we're seeing a little more lightning starting to fire up within some of these. So these could be ramping back up and getting a little bit stronger. So I just wanted to check on that. We'll keep checking this lightning count to see if we see the lightning numbers coming down or going up, because that's an indicator of whether or not we see any weakening or strengthening with those storms. Here's a look at the main storm threats and the potential that we have with this. Moderate risk for heavy rain and strong wind. Those are the main things we're going to be watching when this line moves in. Very low risk for a tornado, and then a low but not very low risk for some hail to be in association with these storms as it continues to move on through. Now, I also want you to look at Tuesday. We're not concerned about any severe storms here on Tuesday. There might be some lingering showers in the morning, and then they'll start tapering off, and most of the day is going to be dry. But then we have to watch the next system that's developing, and that's going to be to the west of us on Tuesday, even a level 3 risk in parts of Texas, also in parts of Missouri, Illinois, and into Indiana as well, north of Kentucky here, and then a level 2, yellow color, all surrounding that too. So that's the next system that we have to watch. It is going to be coming in late on Wednesday, and as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center has us in a level 1 risk, mainly for overnight Wednesday into early on Thursday, with the timing of the next line moving in. And again, that would be in our favor. You know, we don't like overnight storms, but hopefully overnight that would give us more of a weakening trend when these storms are moving through there. Behind this system, it's going to be getting colder, or cooler, I should say, for your Thursday afternoon and also into Friday before we start warming up again over the weekend. So this is the second threat we have to watch a little bit later on for this week. Right now, here's a look at temperatures. Now, with that rain coming into Rome, temperature there has come down a little bit to 70 degrees, 73 in Dalton. We're still at 73 here, 69 though in Peachtree City. We do think these temperatures will come down a little bit, but not get cold or anything, but just coming down somewhat once this rain moves in. So over the next 12 hours, the main thing I want you to watch is rain starting first, and then the storm risk is going to be highest, let's say between 10 and 2 in the morning, when we see more of those thunderstorms moving through the metro area. It's going to be earlier for northwest Georgia, but then 10 to 2 in the morning here for the metro area, and then it becomes just general rain that starts tapering off into the early morning hours. So here is a look at what we're watching with the forecast track, and this kind of lines up with what we just showed you on radar with those rain showers there in parts of northwest Georgia. All right, that's that leading edge. So what we'll have to watch at 9 o'clock, maybe some of those storms in Alabama and that potential line that could start developing here, pushing into our area once we get to 10, 11, 1, 2 in the morning. And this could still be strong coming in here later on tonight, getting closer to the midnight hour with heavy rain, thunder, lightning, strong wind possible, pushing through our area. By 1:32 in the morning, that leading edge is going to be to the east of us and also to the south. We'll still have some lingering showers back behind, but any severe weather threat would start going away after that. And then we'll see a couple lingering showers early tomorrow morning, and then things will get drier here through the day on Tuesday. Clouds may be a little stubborn to break up, but hopefully we'll see a little bit of sunshine coming through later on during the day. So here's the 7-day outlook. where we do see 79 for a high Tuesday, 83 on Wednesday with partly cloudy skies. But then with that system coming in Wednesday night into Thursday, we'll clear out early Thursday, but it's going to be cooler with the high of 61, 68 Friday. Then the weekend looks good. Mostly sunny skies Saturday and Sunday, highs near 76 Saturday, 79 on Sunday, and then another rain chance pushing into our area on your Monday. So another quick look at radar before I come down for just a brief moment here. I'll be back on at 8:30. But what I'm going to be doing in this little break that I have here, I'm going to be watching these storms to see if this line is developing a little bit more as it crosses over 59 and it holds together, and if we see that lightning count coming up. Also, I'll be watching the National Weather Service. I'm just making sure that when the last time we saw this map, okay, still no expansion of that watch yet, but if they do extend it, of course, we'll come back on with you to make sure you know about that. And also, I'll be on at 8:30 for a planned weather update. I've been doing these generally at the top and bottom of the hour for about 15 minutes. And then when I end here, we're going to keep radar up on our main 24/7 feed, as well as our weather impact 24/7 that you'll see on the bottom of the screen there, where you'll be able to go to that and also just watch radar if you want. And then I'll be coming in and out of that with these updates. But if I come on at 8:30 and need to stay on even longer, I'll do that. So thanks for watching this specific update. Stay with us. We'll have more on radar here in just a second, and then additional updates coming in, another extended update coming up at about 8:30. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes. And we are back here with you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. Back with you here at 8:30, and we have a new development since our last update where we just went off just less than 15 minutes ago. We were telling you that the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center was analyzing these storms back into Alabama and whether or not they will hold together enough to warrant an expansion of the severe thunderstorm watch to include Metro Atlanta. They just did that just a few minutes ago. So this watch has now been expanded. Instead of including just these counties on the Alabama-Georgia line, they have added additional counties, including much of Metro Atlanta. This comes over to Cherokee County, Fulton County, DeKalb County, Clayton County, Fayette County, Coweta County, Meriwether County. It was already in for Troup County, also Heard County, Carroll County, and those counties along the line there. Douglas County is now included in this, Paulding County, Cobb County, I mentioned Cherokee County, and also Bartow County added on to this severe thunderstorm watch. The expiration time is still at 11 o'clock tonight. And again, those counties there on the Georgia line, and then over the line into Cleburne County and also Randolph County, Alabama. So new expansion, including more counties, which does include parts of Metro Atlanta and the city of Atlanta in this severe thunderstorm watch. Again, the expiration time is going to be at about 11 o'clock. And as we've been telling you, we have the 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert that is in effect for tonight because of that potential for some high wind. Hail is possible, lightning, pockets of heavy rain possible, and a very low risk for an isolated brief spin-up tornado. I'm going to keep checking my phone here just to make sure that I'm not getting any new updates in from the National Weather Service. Okay, so they're saying here, let me see what this new update that I just got in from the Weather Service with this new issuance. They're saying that Dade and Walker County, I'm going to show you this in just a second. Let me go ahead and put it on radar so y'all can see this. That severe threat for Dade and Walker counties is now over and will be trimmed out from the watch in the next update. So they're going to take Dade and Walker County out of this watch. But what we have to watch right now, and this is what the Weather Service was telling us a little bit earlier, that those storms that were over in Alabama, the cluster of storms that were there, it wasn't really all organized. There were just a few storms here and there. Now we're beginning to see some more organization with this. Now, notice that line that is developing really right on top of Interstate 59 right now in Alabama. Earlier, this wasn't really a linear type system where a line was developing. It was just a lot of splotches of showers and heavy showers. But now, this is kind of coming together here, and this line is developing here and also back to the west. And that's where we have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings back there west of Birmingham right now. And then some still back in Mississippi. We were watching some stronger storms in Louisiana. We got another one there in Jackson. But this is the main cluster that we are watching here. And the Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center was letting us know that even though we were seeing some signs of weakening a little bit earlier because the lightning count was coming down, I was telling you don't let your guard down yet because this line had the potential to form. And we're seeing that happening now. So what we have to watch with this, and see how it curves back right here, as this line moves in, if it stays organized, it is possible we could see some strengthening as it moves into West Georgia. If we see this line kind of bowing out a little bit or curving out, that's an indicator of some really strong winds in association with it. So that's what we're watching now as this moves into areas of northwest Georgia, and it will eventually push into Atlanta through the evening hours tonight. I think that by 10, 11 o'clock, we're going to be seeing some storms moving through our area. And then after midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, that's all going to be pushing over to the east of us. So we're in the time now where things in northwest Georgia could potentially start getting a little more active here as that line that's over Interstate 59 moves in. We've seen a couple of other warnings here. I think a big part of Birmingham is now included in that new warning that just came out here. You get a look closer to that so you can see a large warning, including a lot of counties there near Birmingham with that cluster that's moving in. And then nothing along this line, along Interstate 59 yet, But I wouldn't be surprised now that this is getting a little better organized here if we could see some warnings there, severe thunderstorm warnings, into eastern Alabama and potentially into parts of West Georgia. So that's the next thing that we're watching with the development of this system that is in Alabama moving into parts of northwest Georgia. And here's another look at that here. I want to show you, let me go back to that before I exit out. What I've been doing is monitoring the lightning count. If you were watching me earlier, I was showing this lightning count here. I'm going to do it again to see what kind of numbers we're getting there. Okay, it's back over 300. So we saw some weakening where we had it go from 300 down into the mid 200s. Then it started coming back up, and now we're back over 300 again for the lightning count. So that's the indicator that these storms are not weakening. They're getting stronger now. We had a little weakening trend. Now that this line is developing, we're seeing more lightning here developing with that, especially these clusters here and then along this line, and that's making that lightning count come back up. So it's not a weakening system. These storms are still rather potent here, and it is possible we could see this lightning count coming up even a little bit more as the system still gets closer to us. Now, I want to go back. I'm going to put this up full screen so you can see this. This is in Rome right now. I'm going to hold this up for a second because, okay, can y'all see that? Some of the lightning flashes that you're seeing there in the sky. I want to walk over in front of this so that I can point out a few things here. Number one, the road is wetter than it was earlier. When we were showing this a little bit earlier, the road was just really kind of damp. And I was pointing out here under this street light, you can see some of the raindrops coming down. Now we can see more of these raindrops that are kind of illuminated by some of the lights here on the buildings as we look into the dark sky. The wind isn't crazy right now, but we're just seeing more rain that's coming down in Floyd County up in the Rome area right now. So, and there again, I'll step out of the shot so you can see some of this lightning there a little bit better. Again, that lightning is from a distance, and I think we're going to see this lightning start ramping up a little bit more here in just a little bit. Now compare that to Atlanta, where we are dry right now. We don't have any rain coming in yet. It will be here soon, but no rain is coming down right now. We're not seeing any lightning here in the city. This is our tower cam on top of our broadcast tower over on the Fulton-DeKalb County line on Arizona Avenue, looking westward toward the city. And we have clouds now that are over the city, and they're starting to thicken up a little bit more. But again, we're looking west. We're not seeing, okay, oh, did you see that right there? All right, that was some of the lightning from the distance there on the right-hand side of your screen. So we're going to start seeing the lightning, even though it's far away, starting to show up here in Atlanta. And then eventually, I think the lightning will be back here over us here in Atlanta later on during the nighttime hours tonight. Storm Prediction Center has not taken away any of our level 2 threat yet. This is the time of night where they usually update these outlooks. It'll be interesting to see if they trim this down anymore or if they hold it together. But the fact that they're they've expanded that severe thunderstorm watch into Atlanta, I doubt they're going to trim this back, but that should be happening really within the next 30 minutes if we see that happen. So I'll be interested to see that update that's coming in. But from Atlanta westward, we have a level 2 of 5 risk for the potential for some of these storms that could turn strong. And a level 2 risk means scattered stronger storms. We'll have some rain, but embedded within that, some of the scattered storms within that could be severe. And then it would be more isolated over to the east of us where we have the level 1 risk. The timing with this system is a little bit more in our favor, coming in after the sun sets and when it's dark and when we have hopefully the atmosphere stabilizing a little bit with the temperatures beginning to come down somewhat. But we can't let our guard down because we're seeing that line starting to get a little better organized, and we'll have to watch for that potential for severe weather. And I think that potential is going to be a little stronger or more likely over on the west side. So we have moderate risk for heavy rain and strong winds. That's the main thing we're watching for. The tornado risk is very low, but it's not zero. And then the hail risk is low, but it's not very low. So we could see some hail with that too as these storms continue to move through. Now, on Tuesday, we also have a severe weather threat, not here, but out to the west. This is the next system that we're going to be watching here as it gets better organized over on the west side, as those storms get a little better organized, and they're going to start moving our way. And by Wednesday, I really think the daytime hours here on Wednesday are going to be dry, but it's going to be Wednesday night, really overnight Wednesday into Thursday when we see the next line of storms moving in. And right now the Storm Prediction Center has us in a level 1 risk that some of those could turn strong. Again, overnight Wednesday into Thursday. It could be in our favor, the timing that day too, that these storms may weaken somewhat coming in when we lose some of that heating of the day. Now, we haven't really lost a lot of heating today. I mean, we've come down a little bit, but we're 73 now in Atlanta, 74 in Marietta. Rain-cooled air has dropped Rome from the 70s into the 60s. Dalton is in the 60s, Carrollton in the 60s with rain-cooled air coming in here. So we should see our temperature come down a little bit and might help to stabilize the atmosphere somewhat rather than upper 70s that we had around a little bit earlier. But what I think that I want you to be aware of here, we're going to have just showers starting first, and then 10 to maybe 2 o'clock in the morning when we will see the better chance for thunderstorms and maybe the stronger storms moving through. This is for Metro Atlanta. It's already starting in West Georgia with some of those stronger storms getting a little better organized and some lightning happening there. I think that will be happening for us in Metro Atlanta between 10 and 2. And then 3 o'clock and after, it's just general showers here. And the rain will be ending early tomorrow morning with temperatures that are going to be down into the 60s. So here is a look at our forecast track. This is our high resolution rapid refresh model showing the rain in northwest Georgia, stronger storms over to the west of us, but we're seeing if this is going to get a little better organized as this moves through and into Atlanta, as I mentioned, between 10 and 2. This is showing it around midnight, the area of heaviest rain most likely over us here during the midnight time frame, 11, midnight here, with the stronger storms that will be rolling through. And then that leading edge goes south and east of us by 1:30 in the morning and starts pushing away. And they'll be a little bit weaker when they're to the south and east of us. But then also watching here through the morning hours, a couple lingering showers possible before things start tapering off during the day here on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, some clouds around, warmer air, and most of the daytime hours are going to be dry here on Wednesday. But we will be watching for the potential for those storms developing on Wednesday night, overnight into early on Thursday with that next round that is going to be pushing through our area. So let me show you the 7-day forecast. Then I'm going to take you back to radar. We're going to analyze a little bit more with that here coming up in just a second. But the 7-day is showing where we have that potential for the stronger storms tonight, and then a low risk for a couple of showers in the morning. Wednesday looks dry for the daytime hours, highs near 83, but then overnight Wednesday into early on Thursday, that's when we see that better chance for some of those storms to move through. Overnight, again, Wednesday into early Thursday, and then tapering off. And that's going to bring in a brief cooling period, 61 for the high Thursday, 68 Friday. And then the weekend, looking good, mostly sunny, rather warm, 76 for a high Saturday, 79 on Sunday, and then another chance of rain coming in here on Monday with those rain chances at about 40%. So here again is a look. Let me take you back to radar. I want to take a look at these storms to see how that line is looking now as it is approaching areas of northwest Georgia. Okay, they just issued a large polygon here. This is for a severe thunderstorm warning and it includes parts of Cleburne County, Alabama. All right, let me put this into live mode and we can get in a little bit tighter here. So do you see that there? This polygon, yellow polygon right here, along this line, this just moved over Interstate 59. So along this line here, this is what's indicating some areas of severe storms that is moving over to the east. This pretty much stops at the Georgia-Alabama line, but it does include the northern parts of Cleburne County. So I want you folks in parts of Haralson County, Polk County, Floyd County, I would not be surprised that if this holds together in Alabama, moving across the line, that we could potentially see a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for those counties. Let me put the information up on the screen here so y'all can see those areas that we're talking about for this severe thunderstorm warning. For Calhoun County, Cherokee County, Alabama, not Cherokee County, Georgia. Okay, I'm trying to move this up to the north here. I don't know why it wouldn't do that. Let me put it back up here for you. So this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Calhoun County, Alabama, Cherokee County, Alabama, Cleburne County, Alabama, and Etowah County, Alabama. So it's this northern part of Cleburne here that I want you guys to watch as that line continues moving over toward the east. So here's what the National Weather Service is saying about this warning. Severe thunderstorm warning, as I mentioned, northern Calhoun County, eastern Etowah County, northeastern Cleburne County, and Cherokee County in northeastern Alabama, not Cherokee County, Georgia. This is a severe thunderstorms, plural, located along the line extending from near Little River Falls to near Neely Henry Lake, moving east at 45 miles an hour. The main hazard with this, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I do not see, there is a hail threat for, let's see here, radar indicated hail. Max hail size is less than 3/4 of an inch. And again, those maximum wind gusts. So let's do a couple of things here. Let's look at the hail size, see if anything even comes in on this within that. This might take a second to kind of populate here. I'm not really indicating any hail here from this right now. Let's look back at velocity too, though. I also don't see anything within velocity that indicates any suspicious areas of rotation. So what I'm doing right now, while I'm on live with you, we're analyzing the storm live, and I don't really see anything standing out that looks too alarming right now with this. But again, severe thunderstorm warning, and it stops right at the Georgia-Alabama line. So as this moves in, we do have the potential that some of these storms here coming into northwest Georgia could turn severe. And so that's why I want you folks in Chattooga County here, Floyd County, Polk County, and Haralson County, and even Carroll County. I want you guys to be aware as this line moves in, and it's going about 45 miles an hour. Let me do a, I'll show you kind of this part right here. All right, as that moves 45 miles an hour, it's kind of moving more east. That would push it into, I know this is kind of small here, Menlo at 8:48, Somerville at 9:10. So this is Eastern time. Menlo at 8:48, and then Somerville at 9:10. And then this, Jacksonville, Alabama is Central time, 8:16, and then it's 9:36 Eastern time for Foster Mills over into Georgia. 9:50, it can be around the Rome area if it holds together. So that just gives you the timeline. 10:16 in Calhoun, 10:49 close to 11 at Rockmart, 11:01 into Cartersville. That is if that line holds together and continues moving at about 45 miles an hour. So it's knocking on the door there of northwest Georgia. So I am not going to come down right now. You know, normally I do these for about 15 minutes and then take a little break and come back up at the top of the hour. I want to stay with you. I'm not going to come down here because I want to see. Now the expiration time of this watch, let me put that back up here, the severe thunderstorm watch. I'm sorry, the severe thunderstorm warning. The expiration time, 8:45 Central time, which is really 9:45 our time. That's a long severe thunderstorm warning. So they've issued it for multiple counties there. So it's going to be in effect there for a while until 8:45 Central time. So at any time now, depending on how these storms hold together, our National Weather Service down in Peachtree City may issue a severe thunderstorm warning for those storms. As I mentioned, those counties along the Alabama line. And since they've issued, okay, they just took out, did you see that kind of trimmed down a little bit? The National Weather Service office in Birmingham kind of trimmed that down. It does not include this area 59, but still these multiple counties here. So this part, I would watch first for Chattooga County and also into Floyd County, that we could see a warning issued there. And then I don't know if they would issue it for this entire line like the National Weather Service did in Birmingham, or if they would issue like one here and then maybe one there a little bit later. So let me look again to see if I'm getting any indications from them. No, I don't have any indications from them that they're going to do that, but I know that they are monitoring this line there that's in Alabama, and it is now approaching northwest Georgia. Let's take another look now live in Rome. Let's see if we know we've got the rain there. Okay, so that's interesting. I was looking to see if the flags were blowing anymore, and they aren't yet. I do expect when we come back and look at Rome here in just a little bit, but you can see the rain a little bit better. Let me put it up full screen for you. You can see the rain better here, and of course, all of the water on the roads. But I expect we're going to see those flags that are going to start blowing there a little more briskly coming up pretty soon as that line gets into, there you see the lightning in the distance as well, as that line gets into those areas of northwest Georgia. The Storm Prediction Center just did a little upgrade here. Okay, so it didn't impact us at all with our level 2 risk. The Storm Prediction Center just kind of refined that level 2 risk. It does not go as far up into northwest Georgia or include Huntsville area anymore. They kind of shrunk it up a little bit, but it still comes as far west as Atlanta that you see right here. All right, so the yellow has shrunk up a little bit, but they did not take away many of these counties here in West Georgia. Where we still have that level 2 risk. So that's another update that just came in just a few minutes ago. I was saying earlier that we expected an update to come in this half hour, and they did just kind of trim down that yellow a little bit, but it did not take it away from the metro Atlanta area. So that is what we have to watch for. I'm going to change our mode here now so we can get a better look here with our live radar. Let me put this up live so you guys can see this right now. This is a look here. You can see the sweep going around right here. This is a live look at live radar. I took the clouds off, and this is just a different product that we have with this radar showing those storms as they are moving in. What I want to do, I want to establish a count just on a lightning count just on this North Georgia feed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back, though, west of Birmingham and come over to past Atlanta and do a lightning count here. We've got about 280 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes in this view with this line of storms moving in. Now, earlier I was showing you over 300, but that's because I was counting a lot more stuff back into Alabama. So I want to establish a count, a lightning count here on North Georgia. On this view, and I'm going to keep a count on this as these storms come in, and we'll be able to come back and do this every once in a while to see if this count is increasing or going down, and that'll determine whether or not we are seeing the storm strengthening or weakening. Right now, the trend has been that lightning count has been coming up as the line gets a little better organized, and that's what I was telling you about earlier. These storms back in northern Alabama were, I don't want to say disorganized, but it wasn't like a real congealed system. There were just some stronger storms here and there. And the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center were telling us, letting everybody know, don't let your guard down, because what we could see is that line really kind of congealing a little bit more and coming together. And that's what's happening. And it is actually getting a little bit stronger as it moves into and closer to West Georgia. And that's why they expanded the severe thunderstorm watch over into metro Atlanta. Now, I do think it's a little bit interesting that they didn't change the expiration time, but really it might be through the city by 11 o'clock. I think it could be between 10 and 2 with that main line moving through. So we'll wait and see if maybe they do extend that expiration time a little bit later. But this is all based on what we're seeing as we're analyzing those storms back in Alabama that look like they are holding together and even maybe getting a little bit stronger coming into northwest Georgia and then eventually into Atlanta a little bit later on here tonight during the evening hours. Now, we're going to begin to see some rain first. This starts off as some light rain, then it turns into moderate rain, and then the main heavy start is more out to the west. And a lot of times with these squall lines and severe storms, it will go from no rain to heavy rain just within seconds. This is a little bit different situation where you're going to get some light rain first coming into Atlanta, then moderate to heavy rain, but then this main part is actually going to be delayed a little bit. That will be the heaviest rain coming in. So that first is now pushing into parts of Chattooga County and also Floyd County. Let's get a little bit tighter here. Let's kind of look at this line a little bit more. Now, Calhoun, you have moderate rain coming into Calhoun. We're beginning to see, now look at these lightning strikes here in Floyd County and Chattooga County around Somerville, kind of scattered. Some of those lightning strikes are coming into parts of Bartow County there, west of 75. Northern Polk County, you're seeing some lightning from the distance. Cleburne County, you have some of the lightning there. But then the main concentration of that heavy rain and lightning really goes from Anniston to Jacksonville up to Center, Alabama, to the east of Fort Payne. And now, beginning to come into Rome, heavy rain there, and also some of that heavy rain in Chattooga County there in Somerville. So I'm going to be interested to see, and I expect now, maybe at any moment, we could have some northwest Georgia counties potentially included in a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, the Weather Service most likely is waiting until, again, we're getting that northern part of this line that's moving from Alabama, crossing over the line into Chattooga. Okay, they just issued one right here. This is brand new. Can y'all see that polygon right here? All right, let me get in a little bit tighter. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning. I'll put it up here for you so you can see what we're talking about here. Severe thunderstorm warning for areas of Chattooga, Floyd, and Polk County. All right. I want to let you know what the National Weather Service is saying. Let me put this up full screen for you so you can see this just a little bit better there. So what we're talking about is that area. The main part is in southwestern Floyd County, northwestern Polk County, and southwestern Chattooga County, okay? Let me put this back out live so you can see what we're talking about. This small part of Chattooga County, southwestern Chattooga, much of western Floyd here, and also the northwestern parts of Polk County. Right now doesn't include Cedartown, but it may extend over into Cedartown in just a bit. So this is the latest severe thunderstorm warning now for parts of Chattooga, a big part of western Floyd. It comes up, the line comes right up to Rome. So the city of Rome most likely still included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And then also we have northwestern parts of Polk County. 8:55 p.m., severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from Chattoogaville near Knighton's Crossroads, moving east at 35 miles an hour. The main hazard here, heavy rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Let's look and see. Let me look back and make sure. Okay, they're indicating if any hail is in that, it's less than 3/4 of an inch. Wind is radar indicated, and the hail threat is radar indicated. Let me see if we have any hail showing up. They're saying that this is mainly for 60-mile-an-hour winds, but let me just put up the hail. Okay, so you can see back here, can you see that at Galesville? I know this is kind of hard to see. This is a gray color right there. That is most likely some pea-sized hail there in Galesville. So that may cross over the line. Let me zoom in a little bit tighter. Can you see that gray a little bit better? Just north of Galesville. This shows pea-sized hail. So that's going to be crossing over the state line into those areas of Floyd and also southern parts of Chattooga County if that holds together. But the main thing we're watching will be those pockets of moderate to heavy rain. Let me take radar. I'm going to take radar off just for a moment because I want you to be able to see. All right, this is the warning. Much of Floyd, that right there is southern parts of Chattooga, and then northwestern parts of Polk. All right, I just wanted to take the radar off so you can see that yellow polygon a little bit easier. I'll put it back on here now. And that's with that really heavy rain that is coming down. Now, I mentioned it was moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. So I'm going to track this part here. I'm going to do the whole line. So it mentioned the southern parts of Chattooga County. Hold on here just a second. Let me select this. And I'll kind of go along that part of the line here, moving east at about 40 miles. No, I think it said 35 miles an hour. So that would then take this into Sprite at 9:03. And this is in effect until 9:30, this warning, all right? Sprite at 9:03, Coosa at 9:13, Cave Spring here at 9:24, Rome at 9:42. All right, right now we're at 9 o'clock. Into Fish Creek, Stylesboro at 10:37. Again, that's outside of the warning area. Into Shannon at 9:56. There's Fish Creek here. It would be there at 10:08. Esom Hill, it would be in that area around 9:31. So again, that just goes to show you here what we're watching with that storm system and the time of arrival. So I want you to be aware, you already have rain in those areas that I just pointed out, but the heaviest part with the wind will be coming in around that time frame. So let's go back to, I want to go back to the Rome tower cam here just to see if the flags are blowing anymore. All right, they're not still, but they're also not blowing very hard there, just kind of moving a little bit as the wind's kicking up. You can see the roads are wet here, the raindrops are coming down, and I think that rain is only going to get heavier, and we're going to see the wind that will be kicking up a lot more here within the next few minutes as those stronger winds start moving in. So let's put this into motion. And if you're joining us right now, I know I just realized it was the top of the hour. I had been doing updates at the top and bottom of each hour, tracking these storms moving in. And I started this one at 8:30, and I've not gone off yet. I think I'm going to stay on here with you as we track these storms moving in. The reason I did not go off at 8:45 is because the National Weather Service issued this severe thunderstorm warning in eastern Alabama and included parts of Cleveland County. I was anticipating that they would then issue a new warning in parts of northwest Georgia. That's why I didn't want to go off. I'm glad I didn't, because I was here with you to be able to tell you, just as that warning was issued there in northwest Georgia, that includes the southern parts of Chattooga County, much of western Floyd County, and this little small part here of northwestern Polk County, where we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 9:30. Let me confirm that time here for you. Yes, until 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. With those storms, again, Chattooga, Floyd, and Polk counties, with this line that has been moving in. And what we've been tracking here is this line really developing. Earlier when these storms were over, let me take lightning off for just a bit here so you can get a better look at the structure of these storms. All right. Earlier, we had a lot of red and yellow and orange there. That was just kind of, mingled over parts of northern Alabama. Now, some of these heavier showers and storms are kind of coming together a little bit more and causing this line, and they're actually strengthening a little bit as they push in from Alabama, moving into northwest Georgia. So as of right now, as I mentioned, southern Chattooga, we've got Floyd and into the northern parts of Polk. I want you to be aware, though, in Haralson County and Carroll County, I really think this part here that's from Anniston down toward Talladega, as that moves your way, you may have a severe thunderstorm warning issued for your area there, possible. And these may hold together and we could have some severe thunderstorms coming into Atlanta in a bit. But the whole point, the whole thing about this, as this line moves in during the night, I know it's a little disconcerting to have storms during the overnight hours, but that could be in our favor, since we're going to be losing some heating of the afternoon, that as this line moves in, we could see some weakening coming in. But the fact that this storm has this line has kind of congealed a little bit and gotten a little better organized, it may hold together a good bit. And that's why the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center collaborated, and they extended that watch into Atlanta here until 11 o'clock tonight. I'll show that to you here in just a second. I just want to make sure that I am not getting any other updates in from the National Weather Service. What I'm doing here when I'm looking at my phone, I'm not checking texts or anything. I follow the meteorologists here in Atlanta, have a connection with the National Weather Service called the National Weather Service Chat, and they will type out some of their thoughts of what they're watching. We get the warnings coming in immediately here, and that's how I was able to pass this warning to you right when it popped up there on the screen for that part of northwest Georgia. So we'll keep watching this moving in. I'm going to put lightning back on, and I'm going to go back to this view. This is our live view. You see the sweep going across here. And I want to show you the lightning count again. Remember just a few moments ago, we did a count. It was over 300. I'm going to do this again. Interesting. Now 271. So that count has come down a little bit. Now, we often see fluctuations in lightning counts, and we can't take just, a few counts coming down. What we have to watch for is trends. If we keep seeing the lightning count coming down, that would be an indicator of potential weakening. So lightning count not as high as it was earlier when it was over 300, but still it's come down an okay amount to 271. But I'm going to keep coming back and checking this to see if those numbers start coming up again or if they keep going down. And that would be an indicator of whether or not these storms are weakening just a little bit more. So as of right now, watching northwest Georgia for that severe thunderstorm warning for those areas of Floyd County, Chattooga County, and northern parts of Polk County. But, and here, let me take the radar off again, just so you can get a look at what we're watching, okay? So this is that warning for southern parts of Chattooga, much of Floyd, and this northwestern part of Polk. But we also have Cleburne County, northern Cleburne County, in this watch that's over in Alabama, including these additional counties here. So I want you to be prepared in Polk County, Carroll County, and Heard County as that line that goes back down south of Anniston, and I'll put the radar back on. So now Anniston is not in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. It's north of Anniston, this part right here. So definitely Haralson County, stay alert, as we may have a severe thunderstorm warning for you. The rest of Polk may be added to that. The rest of Floyd may be added to that. Bartow could be included earlier in a little bit. Paulding County could be included in a little bit. Parts of Carroll, maybe Douglas, and then eventually Atlanta might get into some of these stronger storms moving in if they hold together and don't weaken anymore. The time frame for Atlanta would be mainly for around, let's say, between 10 and 2. Narrow that down a little bit more, maybe more like 11 o'clock to 1 for the metro area, depending on if you're on the west side or the east side here. But I think the city proper may be closer to midnight for this main part of heaviest rain to be moving in. So that's the part that we're watching there in northwest Georgia right now with that lightning and heavy rain coming in. While I'm here, I'm just going to look at velocity. We have not seen anything here. Now, there were a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, actually tornado warnings back in Mississippi earlier with some brief rotation indicated there. As this comes back into our area, though, I'm just kind of analyzing this while we're looking. I see a wind shift line, but I don't really see anything right now that stands out as potential rotation. Put storm tracks on here really quick just to see if anything shows up. No, I don't really see any type of rotation there within that leading edge of that stronger line. So nothing really alarming as far as rotation. We don't see anything with that. This is mainly a system with heavy rain and strong winds. And there has been some hail with it. The hail that I saw earlier back near Galesville in Alabama. I say that slowly because I have relatives from Gillsville, Georgia, and it sounds really weird to say Galesville. I have to kind of like slow down and not say Gillsville. But again, that's back into Alabama where we saw some of that heavier rain that was moving through just a few moments ago. So we're back at radar and just kind of watching that line part as it moves in. So the heavier part of this is in that part where we have the warning there, severe thunderstorm warning in the southern parts of Chattooga. This heaviest part now getting closer to Rome, stretching down this part, getting closer to northern Polk County. So it's possible as this gets closer that we could see this extending more over to the east as we continue going through the next few hours here. So this is really the main part of the system coming out of Alabama. Notice too, more severe thunderstorm warnings near Birmingham and south of Birmingham. Also back into the Alabama-Mississippi line. Look at that, near Columbus, Mississippi, we have a tornado warning there. And that's really with an individual cell there near Columbus. That's not really part of a line or anything, but there is some rotation back there that has prompted that tornado warning. So while we're concentrating on this through Birmingham and then this line that is developed over into parts of eastern Alabama, we're not seeing any type of rotation with that we can see right now, but the chances of tornadoes are low, but it's also not zero. I mean, it's not out of the question that we can see a brief spin up happening there, and that's what's happening back in right on the Mississippi and Alabama line with a tornado warning there. I don't anticipate that we would see much or numerous tornado warnings here. Again, it's a very low risk, but it's also not zero. I'm not saying it's not possible. We can see at any time rotation developing here along that, but the main threats we have right now, pockets of heavy rain, thunder and lightning, small hail over near Galesville. That's what I was going to do. I was going to look at the hail to see if anything else is showing up here. And sometimes it takes a second for this to populate. I don't see anything near Galesville anymore. Okay, there is a little tiny, I'm going to zoom in really tight here, south of Lyerly. This is right on the line here from Chattooga County into Floyd County. So here's Rome all the way over here. I know I'm zoomed in really tight, so it's kind of hard to see there. But I wanted to zoom in. This is the only hail that's showing up here. Maybe some pea-sized hail in the southern parts of Chattooga County, right there on the line, going into parts of Floyd County. That's the only hail that I'm seeing there within that line where we have that severe thunderstorm warning. There is another one. Let me zoom in tighter here. Another little thing near Piedmont, Alabama, right there. Maybe some pea-sized hail with that too. That is just to the west of Polk County. So that's all really all the hail that we're seeing with that right now. So this main part, again, okay, there is, okay, let me take the radar off because there is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning now. I want to get a better look at that. Oh, hold on. This, okay, so let me just kind of show you this really quick. Earlier, okay, so we have this for Floyd, Chattooga, and Polk County. Then this was the first warning that came out that included northern parts of Cleburne. Now, that part here for Talladega and Anniston, where I told you was not severe, not classified as severe, now it is. The rest of Cleburne County is now in a severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like they cut it off right at Randolph County. So Randolph County is not included with that, but it goes back toward Talladega. So now that part of the line is now classified as severe. Let's put radar back. So where I was telling you first, it was just this part here coming into northwest Georgia, but now they've included the rest of Cleburne, and then this stretches back to that line to Lineville, Alexander City, back to Maplesville, near Calera, south of Birmingham and near Birmingham, and also to the west. Tuscaloosa is not included in a warning right now. So that's why I was telling folks in Polk County, Haralson County, Carroll, and Heard, I want y'all to be aware that as this line moves in, you could see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for you too. So let me see if I have anything new here from the National Weather Service. Okay, nothing new here from them. And they are reiterating that the main concern with this line is the wind. Winds are about 60 miles an hour or greater. Again, we're not really detecting any rotation with it right now, but the main threat with this line right now is the wind and the heavy rain, and there is some small hail in association with those storms too. So that is the main thing that we're watching right now with this pushing through with those storms there. And again, notice here in Atlanta where we do not see any rain over us yet, but it's going to be coming in. We're going to see these, this green. So this starts off light, and then it gets more moderate, and then this main part here is where you see the heaviest rain that's going to be pushing in. So we have the light rain in northern parts of Cobb, also into areas of Cherokee County up 575, also moving in a little more moderate in Gilmer and Fannin, but that moves over to northern Dawson, into parts of Lumpkin County, and also into Union and Towns County as that keeps moving over to the east. And then it gets more moderate, like what you're seeing in Cherokee, and also into Haralson. And then there's the main line that we're seeing in southern parts of Chattooga, Floyd, northern Polk. I really expect at any time we could see the rest of Polk County and Haralson County and parts of Carroll County be included in a warning, because right now, with this part that has now been included in a severe thunderstorm warning in Alabama, and now all of Cleburne County is in a severe thunderstorm warning, not just the northern part, but all of Cleburne County in a severe thunderstorm warning. I expect that that would move over into West Georgia here in just a little bit for those counties there. So, guys, I am not going to leave you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on full screen here for just a moment. Stand by for just a moment. I need to go get my water bottle that I left in the other room. So keep watching radar here, okay? I'm only going to be out of this room for like 30 seconds, and then I'm going to come back, all right? Stand by with me for just a second. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get a bottle of water just to kind of get a little refreshment, get some hydration here. So I just had to leave my left water bottle in the other room, so I just had to bring it in here. So I'm back here with you as we are tracking these storms. Okay, they just now upgraded that, all right? They issued a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Do y'all see that polygon here? Let me take the radar down for just a moment. Here's the latest, all right? So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Floyd County, goes into Bartow County, the rest of Polk County, western parts of Paulding County. This now includes these areas of Haralson County and this part of Carroll County, the far northern parts of Carroll County, now included in this severe thunderstorm warning. So those are the exact counties that I was telling you just a few minutes ago that we expected this new warning to be issued for. The reason they have done that is because this line that is classified as severe in southern parts of Chattooga into western Floyd, northern parts of Polk, is now moving eastward and is going to include the rest of Floyd over into Bartow, over into Paulding, the rest of Polk County, Haralson County, and into Carroll County here as this part. So all of this coming through Cleburne County, Alabama right now, moving in near Fruithurst, and also moving in closer to Cedartown, moving in closer to Rome, all right? This is the leading edge right here. Okay, that new sweep just came in. It takes it over a little bit more. The leading edge right here, which is moving out of the polygon area that you saw there in Floyd County and into the rest of Floyd. So that leading edge now and into Polk County is moving into these counties. The main threats that we have with that, let me pop it up on your screen. All of the counties might not populate on here since there are multiple counties included in this new warning. Hold on. So it is saying here, let me make sure I don't have any new information from them. Let's see. Oh shoot, hold on. Let me go back to this really quick. They just gave us some new information. All right, and okay. Okay, they were just saying another severe thunderstorm with bowing line segment. So this line beginning to bow out a little bit, which is an indicator of strong winds. And the primary concern with this newest warning is the potential for some damaging wind gusts possible. So you see the counties on your screen. Let me read to you what their warning actually says. Again, western Paulding County, Haralson County in northwestern Georgia, Floyd County, northwestern, Polk County, I'm sorry, central Carroll, southeastern Floyd, I mentioned that, Polk County, southwestern Bartow. Severe thunderstorms located along a line extended from near Coosa to near Cave Spring to Oak Level, moving southeast at 40 miles an hour. So let me put a time of arrival on there. I'll move the warning there, and show you the time of arrival there, really just near Rome, stretching down through Cedartown and then into Cleburne County. I'll stop right there. And it says it's moving southeast at 35 miles an hour. So here's a look at the areas that this will be impacting. So it's 9:20 right now. It's saying Rome at 9:25. So really coming into Rome, really within a matter of minutes, all right? Into Cedartown at 9:35. Into Tallapoosa at 9:59, all right? Into Carrollton at 10:57, so closer to 11 is when it would be moving into Carrollton. This takes us outside of the warning polygon, but if it gets into Ackworth, it would be at 11:01. Cartersville is just right on the line of the polygon there. It would be in your area around 10:32. So that's the leading edge of those heavier showers and storms as they're continuing to move over to the east and southeast, again at 35 to 40 miles an hour. So that's the time of arrival for that line as it moves into those multiple cities there in northwest Georgia. Now, again, the big question is, we don't have rain in Atlanta yet, but it's getting here, all right? We're going to start off light with lighter rain over to the west of us, pushing into Atlanta soon, and then that rain will get heavier as that main line pushes in. And the big question is, will it be able to hold together and remain severe as it pushes into Atlanta? And that is the big question mark right now. Now, while we're here, I want to zoom in tighter and look at our velocity just to see. Okay, so I don't see anything looking alarming with this, indicating any type of rotation there. But what we watch with this, though, here's a little bit of a bowing segment right here, all right? That would be an indicator of some strong winds with that line of storms moving in. And the entire line may start to bow out a little bit too. We don't see anything else really overly concerning with that. But this is the part that looks a little more like it's bowing here, south of Rome, into Cedartown, moving into the rest of Floyd, pushing into the rest of Polk there, which would be, I think, the main area of the strongest winds, most likely are right in this area of that bowing out part of the storm here. Let's go back to radar, and that lines up with this. That's the heaviest part of that really heavy rain coming in. And of course, it extends down into Cleburne County. That is what would move into those spots there in Haralson County, as well into the northern parts of Carroll. So you see Carroll County right here? This goes down pretty much to Carrollton. So it's this part of Carroll County, and then this part that goes north. There's that little bit there along I-20 where Carroll County goes north of I-20 there for a bit. So that part of that northern part of Carroll County is where this warning still is in effect for. But you have to wait for this part that'll get into your area. That's going to still take a little while. But Anniston getting hit hard with some heavy rain is about to move into Fruithurst too. And then of course we've got it already in nearing Rome. Speaking of Rome, let's go back. Let's look at the tower cam there to see. We know it's raining in Rome. Okay, the flags are blowing a lot harder now, all right? This is what I was wondering. Look at that lightning here too. Let's put this up full screen. Yeah, there's more of that lightning from the distance coming in right now. So if you've been with us, so I've been on with you since 8:30. I haven't really stopped except when I had to go get some water. Look at the road there at the bottom of your screen where you can see that they're wet. We've had some rain coming down there for a bit. Ooh, more lightning coming in. Earlier, we were looking at this, and the flags were just sitting there. They really weren't moving that much at all. And that's why I told you I want to keep coming back, because once this main line gets closer to Rome, those flags are going to start blowing, which is what they're doing right now with that wind that is kicking up with it. And it's starting to even just while we're looking at it. And then look at the additional lightning strikes coming in right there too. So this is just the beginning of that heaviest part that's now moving in over Rome right now. So these flags may start blowing a little bit more here in just a little bit if we see those winds getting up to 60 miles an hour coming into Rome, and that might be happening within the next few minutes. But just look at all that lightning. Did you see all those lightning strikes coming in just a minute ago and the lightning flashes? We're going to see more. There's another one. Yeah, we're going to see more because that lightning very impressive there with that main line as it is moving in. Those winds coming out of the northwest going down toward the south and east, and that's the direction of those storms as they are moving through parts of Floyd County, all right? So I'm going to bring you back to this camera in just a minute because I think we're going to see those flags going even stronger here in just a little bit. Let's go back to radar though. Here again is a look at that area of rain, really heavy rain coming in, that elongated line really that's starting to develop. This is where we're seeing the bowing out structure part of this right here, Floyd County into Polk, where we could see the stronger wind. Then it's a little more linear right here. It kind of just spreads out from Anniston down to Lineville. But again, all of Cleburne County is now included. It was northern Cleburne, and also in southern Cleburne wasn't in the warning. Now all of Cleburne is, northern and southern Cleburne included in that. Randolph County, you're not in a warning yet. I expect you to be added into a warning depending on how this holds together there on the south side. But this entire part of the line moving in over to the west, and over to the east actually, but into West Georgia is what I was meaning to say there. Now they have scaled back part of this warning there in Alabama, because we're really talking about this part here that is severe. And of course there's more back toward Birmingham, but the part that would be impacting us is this part right here where we have the severe stuff coming into West Georgia. I mentioned, let's go back to the severe thunderstorm watch. I mentioned to you a minute ago that they're probably going to take, well, they haven't moved Dade and Walker County out of that. Let me check one more thing though. Hold with me for just a second as I change the input here. Warnings come in differently. Let me change something really quick. And when they often take areas out. Okay. So, yeah, they haven't taken Dade and Walker out yet. They say they may do that in a bit, but they haven't done that yet. And then again, still all of the northern parts of that area in Alabama are in it. So anyway, just kind of looking at this map, making sure that I have everything down there correctly. And another look here at the weather impact alert. That's in effect this evening. Still watching the potential for high wind, hail, lightning. We need to stay weather aware here tonight. Also watching that potential very low risk for an isolated brief spin up to occur as this line moves in. So we're coming up here to the bottom of the hour. As we watch this line move through, let me take the lightning off. Okay, while I'm here, let me do this query here on this to get that lightning back in Birmingham and over here. Lightning count, okay, it's now below 200 at 189. So what I'm watching for here is trends. Earlier we had over 300 lightning strikes. Then it came down into the 200s. Then it was in the low 200s. Now we're at 189, all right? I'm not saying that the storms are ending, but this is an indicator of some weakening as this moves into and getting closer to us here. Still strong storms. We still have winds of 60 miles an hour with this. These are still severe storms, all right? But what I'm looking at are the trends within the lightning count is just one of the indicators, all right, that we look for with any signs of weakening. There are a lot of other things we have to watch. We have to watch the winds and whether or not they're holding together. We have to look at the rain rate to see how, if the heavy rain is still coming down. We have to look at the organization of the line. It's still holding together pretty well, all right? But the lightning count within this red box has come down a little bit, and that's just the trend that I'm looking for. It could come back up. We saw it do that earlier. We were in the 300s, went down into the 200s, and then back up to the 300s again as that line was moving in closer to the Georgia-Alabama line. So still, we're watching these severe storms moving in. The big question is, will they hold together? I do think we're going to get rain coming into Atlanta, but will the severe part make it into Atlanta within the next couple of hours? We think that that would be here. As we mentioned, roughly a timeline between 10 and 2 in the morning when we're talking about coming in to West Metro versus just the city itself. I think the city itself will be experiencing it roughly between 11 and 1 as it moves, again, from the west to the east here. So that's what we have going on with those lightning counts. And I'm going to come back and check this again in just a little bit. All right, let's go back to the Rome Tower Cam, because I'm seeing really the main part of that reflectivity and that heavy rain over Rome right now, and some of the winds there too. Here it is full screen. You know, yeah, we still have the lightning. The flags are blowing a little bit more than they were just a few minutes ago. And you can see all the water on the road. You can see the raindrops coming down. And there's more lightning. Wow, more lightning there with that too, up in northwest Georgia and Rome. And even not just the flags are blowing, but look at the whole pole. The entire pole is blowing too. Can you see that? Just kind of shifting back and forth a little bit. So yeah, it's a lot heavier, stronger of a wind right now, and that lightning is still coming in pretty good. So Rome is included in the severe thunderstorm warning right now with the wind and heavy rain coming in. The main threat of this severe thunderstorm right now is just that. 60-mile-an-hour winds and lightning and some heavy rain. Let's go back here to radar. I want to look to see if we see any additional hail happening there within that line. Okay, so this is really showing this bowing out structure a little bit better here. See how this curves out? That's a bowing out structure right there from Rome down through Polk County. So it's this area here where those winds are most likely the strongest. And it's a little more linear coming in right here, but we do have that line that's developed with the heavy rain, wind, and thunder and lightning. Let's see if we see any hail with this right now. Let's look at the hail size, hail product. Okay, this might take a second to populate here. Again, all I see with hail, and I'm going to zoom in really tight. This is south of Rome. Here's Cave Spring. See this gray right here? This may be some pea-sized hail between Cunningham and Lake Creek, just a little bit west of Highway 27. This is Floyd County. This is Polk County. All right, so right there on the county line, a little bit of hail, generally pea-sized hail with that. Moving closer to Reesburg, north of Lake Creek. So this would be moving this way near Reesburg, possibly making it over towards Sidney, north of Cedartown. I don't see really any additional hail. Looking here within that line, that's really the only part of the hail that I see there for those areas there. But again, those stronger winds and that bowing out structure and that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take radar off for just briefly so you can get a better look. Again, at the warnings. This was one of the original warnings here that included Cleburne and that area north of Cleburne. And then this one came out, including Floyd, Polk, Harrelson, Northern Carroll, over into Paulding, and also parts of Bartow County, all right? So I just took the radar down off of it for just a moment. Now they let this one here for western Floyd expire, northwestern Polk, and also that area back in Alabama. So this part expired in western Floyd County, but it is still in effect here. When I put the radar on, you'll see why it is still in effect, because that is the main part right here that extends down back into Alabama. And this bowing out part right here is where that wind is strongest. So this is about to move into Bartow. I want you guys to be prepared for the heavy rain and wind to come into Bartow, also into Paulding. It's going to be moving through Polk here, moving into western Paulding in just a little bit, and then we'll watch and wait to see if the strongest part of this holds together to then maybe extend this watch into possibly Cobb or the rest of Paulding County or into Douglas, all depending on how this holds together or if we see any weakening here with that. Let me put this into motion as I check. Okay, they just are canceling part of the severe thunderstorm watch. Let's see what they're saying here. Yeah, so they did. Let me put this back up here and see if it has shown up on our map yet. Okay, let me again do the part that updates more quickly. Okay, so as you can see there, let me save this. They have taken out Dade, Walker, and Chattooga. Dade, Walker, and Chattooga are no longer included in the severe thunderstorm watch, but we still have Floyd, we still have Bartow, we still have Cherokee, we still have Fulton, We still have Cobb. We still have Paulding. We still have Polk County, Haralson County. We still have Douglas, Carroll, Heard, Troup, Meriwether, Coweta, Fulton here, Fayette, Clayton, and DeKalb. Those are the counties still included in this severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. So they really just took out 3 counties, Dade, Walker, and Chattooga County, no longer included in that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. Still have some rain up there, but just not a threat of severe weather pushing through. Back to live radar. And you can see all the lightning. Okay, let me go back to, let's just do another lightning query while we're here. And I always try to get the same coverage area. Okay, it's back up to 227. So remember how I told you it was down to 189 earlier. I said it could go back up. Now back to 227. And that could be with more of this lightning here. We also have a flash flood warning in effect near Birmingham due to the heavy rain that came through. So the lightning numbers are fluctuating a little bit. It's not trending down constantly. It has come down a little bit, but now it's back up. It's gone from 189 to 227. So still watching some pretty potent storms out there with a lot of lightning, heavy rain, and thunder and lightning. I mentioned that lightning twice there. And pea-sized hail in some smaller spots there too. As all this comes out of Alabama, this part here, the bowing out structure where we have this severe thunderstorm warning, that's the strongest part. I'm waiting to see if the rest of Carroll will be included in a warning. Now, Randolph has not been upgraded to a warning, even though they have some pretty good rain coming through there. So that's a positive sign for folks in areas of Heard County and Troup that maybe these are going to stay below severe limits here, possibly. It's just mainly this part from Carroll northward up toward Floyd County into Bartow, and again watching Paulding. Douglas, you may be in it. South Fulton maybe later. The rest of Carroll possibly, as all of this continues to move through. Now again, you got a lot of heavy rain and thunder and lightning, but the area with the 60-mile-per-hour winds is that part there in areas of northwest Georgia, from Rome down to along I-20 there in Haralson and also Polk County. That's the strongest part of what we see out there right now. Again, Rome here down to I-20 there in Polk, Haralson County. And again, that's going to be moving into Bartow. It's about to move into Bartow, this part right here, and also into Paulding County, western Paulding, where we have some of that heavy rain and also thunder and lightning continuing to move over to the east. So that's what we will continue watching here. Let me take you to the tower cam again. All right, look at those flags blowing now. I'll put this up full screen. And you can see those flags blowing pretty briskly there, and the flag pole is also moving around because those winds are blowing so hard. Stand by while I drink my water again. Take a look at this rain and lightning there in Floyd. So still that heavy rain coming down there, and the wind with that, as that part, more of that lightning right there, as that part of the heaviest rain and the strongest winds are moving through Floyd right now, and Rome right now, and through the city where we have plenty of rain. Oh wow, look at that lightning, and more of that lightning continuing to move through. Here's a look again at what we're watching. I'm going to take the lightning off for just a little bit so you can get a good look at really the heaviest part of this. Here's the bowing out part right here that I'm about to show you here, where you see through, okay, so the heaviest part's coming through Rome now. This again is that bowing out part of this that's moving into Bartow County, and that's going to be pushing into Paulding County really shortly here, and then all of this down into Polk County, into Haralson County. More of a line instead of a bowing out part, but still some strong winds with that, and that extends into the northern parts of Carroll County and into Cleburne County. But again, Randolph County here has not been included in a warning yet. It still could, but maybe it's just this part here that's going to remain strong. Maybe we'll see a little bit of weakening with that as it gets closer to Atlanta. So folks in West Georgia getting hit by the hardest part of this system with the heaviest rain and also the storms moving through. Here again, is an update to that severe thunderstorm warning. Continues the severe thunderstorm warning for western Paulding, Haralson, central Carroll, southeastern Floyd, and Bartow. All right. Also, northern Haralson County, east of Felton. Let me look at this right here. Velocity. Take off lightning here. Draketown. So I'm looking really closely here. Northern Haralson, southeast of Felton. Northern Haralson. So I'm kind of looking at this. The Weather Service just said they're looking at a little, what they call a nub, or a little part of this storm here, to see if there's any type of rotation there within that. So just kind of keeping an eye on that to see if anything develops there over the next little while. So yeah, that's what we're going to kind of keep watching there with that. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to come down here briefly, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and move to the studio as we get ready, get closer to the 11 o'clock newscast. So what I want you guys to do is hang with me, okay? I'm going to put this up on live radar, and then I'm going to come back with you in just a few minutes, and we're going to go live from the studio rather than here in the streaming center, just so we can be ready, again, for our 11 o'clock show tonight, as well as if we need to go on air on 11 Alive. So hang with me here for just a few minutes as I transition there over into the studio. But don't leave me, even though you're not going to hear me talking for the next few minutes here. We're going to keep radar up, and then we're going to go back live here from the studio coming up in just a little bit. So hang with me here just a moment. And we are back with you here streaming on 11 Alive Plus. I just wanted to move locations as we're getting, again, closer to our 11 o'clock show. I was in the streaming studio. I wanted to be out here in our news studio getting ready for the 11. And I also want to be prepared just in case we need to break into programming here on 11 Alive. Right now we are streaming on 11 Alive Plus. We have been doing this pretty much nonstop, except for one time I had to stop to get some water, and then just now as we moved over into a different studio since 8:30, I think, and now it's 9:47. I'm going to hang with you here as we watch this line of storms as it is continuing to move over closer to the metro Atlanta area. And that's the luxury of what we can do here on 11 Alive Plus and streaming, is that we don't have to worry about programming on television. Now, if a tornado warning happened to be issued out of this, we would then break into programming on 11 Alive and do wall-to-wall coverage. But as of right now, we're watching severe thunderstorms. We normally don't break in to programming unless we see major severe thunderstorms that are causing a lot of damage there. But we don't have a tornado warning out there right now or anything, but I wanted just to move over to this studio so we can be ready just in case. What we have been watching is this line of storms that has prompted severe thunderstorm warnings into parts of North and West Georgia, including parts of Floyd County. Now, so you can see that warning right here as we kind of put this loop here into motion, where that includes parts of Floyd into the southern parts of Bartow, into this area, western parts of Paulding County, Polk County, also into Haralson County and the northern parts of Carroll County right here. We also have Cleveland County, Alabama in a severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, Randolph County is getting heavy rain and thunder and lightning, but the National Weather Service in Birmingham has not issued a severe thunderstorm warning for you. That could be good news for folks over in Heard County. If these don't strengthen anymore, we'll wait and see if the rest of Carroll or Heard County would be included in a severe thunderstorm warning. So I'm looking here to see if I have anything new in from the Weather Service, and not quite yet. But this part of the storm here, and I'll zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see what we're talking about right here, and I'll put this into live mode. This part right here has been the strongest. Where you see this bowing out kind of part of that line is where we've had the strongest winds, and that just moved through Rome. That also just moved through parts of Polk County and moved through Cedartown. It's now about to move into Paulding County here near Dallas and the southern parts of Bartow County, the strongest part here. And then that extends back into areas of Haralson County and parts of northern Carroll County, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect. We're still seeing the bowing out of that happening, so it's going to be interesting to see if the rest of Bartow County could potentially be included in a new warning, or the rest of Paulding. Could this potentially move into Cherokee or Cobb County, or into South Fulton County, or into Douglas County? So this is the part we're watching very closely here with this severe thunderstorm warning. The other reason I wanted to come in here, the National Weather Service was talking about just a little part of this here. So there's the bowing out part that we're watching right here. All right, so within this bowing out part, again, that's where we have some of the stronger winds coming out of Polk, moving into Bartow and into Paulding. We are watching a little area down around here where we had a little bit, now you see how that's not totally straight. There's a couple little spots that we're watching there. Nothing indicating full-fledged rotation right now, but just a couple of spots that we need to watch. If any rotation happened to develop there, those are the areas along this line where we see these little indentations here within that could be a little bit of rotation that is trying to develop. Again, I don't want to, overly, make you think, oh man, we've got a tornado developing. But as we are tracking this together, I'm looking at this as I'm broadcasting live to you. So I'm just kind of giving you my thoughts of what we're watching with this line as it's moving in. Let me take I take the lightning off real quick. So just traditionally, when we're tracking severe weather, just within that area of the wind shift, whether or not we see any spots of rotation, nothing is showing up right now as a hook echo or as a TVS, a tornado vortex signature or anything. Of course, we don't have any debris or anything, but we're just kind of watching that line very closely. just to see if any type of rotation or anything with that. So that is what we're watching here with this line that is moving in. I will tell you that a few counties have been taken out of this severe thunderstorm watch. Dade County, Walker County, and Chattooga County have been taken out of the watch. Stand by here really quick. I want to see what we're getting in. The National Weather Service is just giving us a little bit of information here. Let's see. So let me put up radar while I'm looking here at what we're getting from the National Weather Service to see if any new warnings could potentially be coming in. Stand by here for just a second. They have issued a new mesoscale discussion, which is kind of indicating that we still see the potential outside of the current watch of storms that would keep moving through. We don't know yet whether or not that means that there would be an extension of the watch on the south side or not. But they're about to give us an answer here. So this is what we have here in Atlanta. Nothing is heavy coming down in Atlanta right now, but we do have some lighter rain pushing into Atlanta now. And it's going to start off light and then get a little heavier and then really heavy coming into Atlanta if that holds together. So that is what we're kind of keeping an eye on right now as we are tracking these storms that are moving through the area. Let me get this back here to the right mode as what I'm doing here on my phone. I'm not texting my friends or anything. I'm keeping an eye here on the chat with the National Weather Service where they are giving us information, new information that is coming in. So we still have this severe thunderstorm warning and this is going to be in effect for another 6 minutes. So, okay, they're about to issue, okay, they just did. They just issued a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take this off so you can see the new one that was just issued. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take radar off here for just a quick moment. So, well, let me just show you. As you can see it here, let me move this over so you can see this a little bit better here. With those storms, okay, it's kind of going to be behind my head here, where we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for these areas, including Cobb County, Carroll, Douglas, and parts of Fulton County. All right, this is in effect until 10:45. So it's because of this system here where we have these storms coming out of Floyd, coming out of Polk, coming out of Haralson County, now pushing down toward the south and east. This is the leading edge of those stronger storms. So this does include Paulding. The newest county here is for Cobb County, for Fulton, for Douglas County, also the northern parts of Coweta County. It goes back still into Carroll County. So new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for those areas until 10:45. And let me read to you what the National Weather Service is saying here. Severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from near Stylesboro to near Villa Rica to near Carrollton, moving southeast at 45 miles an hour. The main hazard here, 60-mile-an-hour winds, wind gust, and penny-size hail. This is all radar indicated. Let me just make sure. Okay, so within this warning, they are using the tag TOR possible, meaning that, as I showed you there on velocity just a few minutes ago, that there were some little notches on there that we might see some rotation that could be developing. So they're not issuing a tornado warning with this, but they are issuing a severe thunderstorm warning. But within the text of that, they are saying tornado possible. Just be on standby that any tornadoes could occur. For Emily and back directing, if you will just kind of give the hub a heads up and just tell them we don't have a tornado warning right now, but just kind of let the hub be on standby in case we call them in a bit, in case we have a tornado warning. But again, the chances are very low. I just want our hub to be available to get us on pretty quickly there if we have to get on air. But we've been watching a couple of those notches here. So with this newest severe thunderstorm warning, the National Weather Service is just tagging it with the words tornado possible, meaning that we could see a little bit of rotation there. Tornadoes can occur at any time within that. So let me go back to velocity and kind of point out these areas. I'm going to take lightning off real quick. So, okay, we've got a couple of little notches. There's one here, southern parts of Bartow. We just need to keep an eye on this part here. This is the bowing out part in Paulding County, where we have the strongest winds, and this extends down into Carroll County. So this is the newest warning that was just issued. So again, the other one that expires really in 2 minutes is for Floyd, this part of Bartow, western Paulding, Polk County, also this area of Haralson County and northern Carroll. So they just issued this newest one. See this one, this polygon? That includes Paulding, Cobb, Fulton here, central Fulton and south Fulton. Also these areas of Douglas County, this part of Carroll, northern Coweta County, all right? So those are the areas included in that until 10:45. So you see this one expires at 10, all right, what's showing here. This one expires at 10:45. And it's this warning here that the National Weather Service is saying the main threats, heavy rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds. But they're tagging it with the words "tor possible," meaning we're seeing some little notches within this main area. Instead of that being a smooth line of a wind shift line, we're just seeing some little notches within that could indicate where we could potentially be seeing maybe a little rotation trying to develop. But it's nothing strong enough or, impressive enough for them to issue a tornado warning with this right now. So here again, as I widen out a little bit, you see the city of Atlanta. So I mentioned that this includes parts of central and southwestern Fulton counties, and it comes right up to the city of Atlanta, that polygon. So this is the part we're watching that this is going to be moving in. And as I've been saying, we've been doing these extended streams all evening long here. And then this one that I've been doing, except for that break where I changed studios, I've been doing that one since pretty much 8:30. I was taking 15-minute breaks in between and just doing these at the top and bottom of the hour. But then as these storms pushed into West Georgia and as we started seeing severe thunderstorm warnings, I've stayed on pretty much nonstop since then, except for when I moved studios here. Okay, so this warning just expired, all right? You saw that polygon expire. So that was at 10 o'clock. We just got to 10 o'clock, and that warning just expired here at the 10 o'clock hour. Now we have this warning again for Paulding, Cobb, Fulton, Douglas, parts of Carroll, northern Coweta County right here. As this part of the line is moving through into even a little sliver there of Bartow County, that northern corner right there, the northern corner of the polygon comes into southern Bartow County. So this is what we're watching with this line that continues to move, and it's pushing down toward the south and also to the east at about 45 miles an hour. So that would make it on target to move into the Atlanta area. I want to put this into let's see here. I'm just making sure. Oh, wow. Okay, so they're also telling us that they may extend the watch a little bit over the next hour. They may extend the watch to go later than 11 o'clock at night, and it may include more counties on the south side, depending on how this line holds together there. And we hope to see some weakening with it. But depending on if we see any of that weakening, and again, they'll decide within the hour whether or not they are going to expand that watch more down toward the south and then possibly extend out the expiration time. So again, we're watching that area there that's moving in closer to Atlanta. I'm going to put this into live mode, and I want to get a little bit tighter here, and I want to do a time of arrival of this entire line right here. As this goes down and it's moving to the south and east. at it said, let's just put it at 40 miles an hour. It's between 40 and 45 miles an hour. So here's a look at some of those times when this system could be moving into your area. Villa Rica would be 10:02. It's 10:02 right now. So it's already pushing in that leading edge, moving into Villa Rica right now. Then potentially over into Mableton, if it holds together there at 10:51. Marietta, you're in the warning. It could be in your area at 11:01. Here's Forest Park. That would be outside of the polygon, but if it makes it to you, that would be at 11:39. And also here, in northern parts of Coweta County, that would be coming in, closer to 11 o'clock. So Atlanta is showing as 11:25 over the downtown area. That's what we're going to be on for our newscast. So we're going to hold on here, watching that line as it continues moving over toward the south and the east, still at about 45 miles an hour. So that line is looking impressive. We've got some strong winds with it, pockets of heavy rain, and also thunder and lightning, and still watching just a couple of those notches here within our velocity. Let's go back and look at these here. So, okay, you see how this kind of comes out a little bit and goes in. This comes out a little bit and goes in. So those are just some little notches that we have to watch. And that's why the National Weather Service put the tag on there that said TOR possible within this severe thunderstorm warning. And again, this expires at 10:45 tonight. So again, just what we have to watch as this gets closer to the city of Atlanta as to whether or not it could develop any rotation. And if they issue a tornado warning, we're going to not only be here with you live on streaming on 11 Alive Plus, but we will also interrupt programming on 11 Alive and go wall to wall there on 11 Alive if this was upgraded to a tornado warning. But as of right now, I'm not overly impressed by those notches that we see there. It's just something that we have to watch right now. I'm not saying that definitely a tornado would develop, but these are just some of the, little bit of the things that we watch for as meteorologists along a line. Instead of that being straight there, it just has a couple little notches there that we need to keep an eye on. So that's what we're doing right now here on streaming. Let's go back to radar. You can see, number one, not only the lightning. Here, let's go back to the full screen. Now, look back into Alabama. This part of it, not severe, but this part out I-20 just to the east of Birmingham has a severe thunderstorm warning. And near Birmingham right now, we have a flash flood warning. We mentioned that a little bit earlier because of some of the heavy rain that came through. So what I want to do right now is another lightning count. Remember earlier, if you've been watching us for a while, this lightning count came down a little bit to like 189, then it went back up into the 200s. Now it's at 204. It was around 229 just a little while ago, 220 something a few minutes ago. Now back to 204. So we're just seeing fluctuating numbers here. What we watch for is trends. Earlier it was in over 500 back in North Alabama, came down to 300, then 200, then back up to 300. Then it was in the 200s for a while, and then it went back down to 189, now then 222. Now it's in between there at about 204. So we just really watch for some of the fluctuating numbers here within that. We don't really call for a specific weakening trend unless we see that trend of the numbers coming down significantly more and more. We hope to see a weakening trend as this gets closer to Atlanta. But as of right now, this part of it is still holding together pretty well. And again, look at all that lightning. I think a lot of that lightning count is coming from this part right over here to the east of Birmingham. That lightning there still looking pretty intense. I think that's where a lot of those numbers are coming from in this part here. This part where we have the warning, yeah, we've got some lightning there, but not a crazy amount of it. Let's go back to Floyd County. I want to show you the Rome Tower Cam, where we were watching, number one, the heavy rain coming through and the wind earlier. We still have some good wind, but the flags are not blowing as hard as they were just a little while ago. I'll step out so you can see it full screen. We still have some wind coming there now, but it's not as strong as it was because we're seeing that red part on radar, that heaviest rain and wind, that is moving to the east now, but still flags are blowing pretty good. You still got some rain and wind in Floyd County there in parts of Rome. So even though that heaviest part of the system has pushed past Rome, and even Rome, the city, the downtown area, is no longer included in a severe thunderstorm warning, but we still have rain, okay? This part of Rome, see coming up right there, we still have some good rain coming down, but it's not severe anymore. It's this part right here, that leading edge of those storms now, southern parts of Bartow, right through central Paulding, moving down into Carroll, about to move into Douglas, about to move into northern Coweta. It would move into Cobb, eventually this part of Fulton, western Fulton, West Atlanta, there along the west side there, and into this part, that small little part of Bartow County, where we have that strongest part of the storm system that continues to move on through. Let me check again to see if I have any new information coming in from the Weather Service. No new information coming in there. So what they do a lot of times, even before they issue a warning, is they'll kind of give us a heads up sometime, letting us know that they may issue a warning, and they're not giving us really anything new out there right now. So for the next 30 plus minutes, we're watching that main part of the line that is moving through these areas of Paulding, about to move into Cobb, this part coming into western Douglas right there along I-20, and this part coming out of Carroll County that's about to move into Douglas and into parts of South Fulton too. That's the strongest part of the system. That is what has prompted the severe thunderstorm warnings for those multiple counties there, and that is approaching Atlanta. So the big question is, will it hold together? I do think we're going to get rain in Atlanta. I do think we're going to get some wind. I do think we're going to have thunder and lightning, but whether or not it's still a severe storm into Atlanta, we're going to have to wait and see how this holds together. And again, watching some of those notches there along that leading edge, just to see if any rotation can develop. Again, nothing is a slam dunk as to any part of this that we're watching with any of those notches that are showing signs of getting stronger. Let's go back to velocity, and yeah, still nothing really looking outstanding along that area there in that line that's coming in, but still just some notches that we kind of have to keep an eye on as the storms move over to the east. So we'll put this into motion, generally moving south and east. 45 miles an hour is that leading edge here. So again, that would be putting it into the city of Atlanta around 11:25-ish when it would come into the city, but on the west side, you know, between 11 and 11:20 coming in there, watching it move into Cobb in just a little bit. It's over Paulding right now, over Dallas right now. And again, these heavier showers coming into parts of Douglas County there along I-20 and also back toward Carrollton with those heavier showers moving in. Atlanta is beginning to get some light rain now. I can show you another tower cam here. I believe I have up the Georgia Tech camera in remote 59. I'm going to show you a couple of things here. This is our Georgia Tech camera there on remote 59 where we have clouds. We're not seeing any rain coming down right now. I also want to show you our tower cam over on top of our broadcast tower. I want to stay here for just a minute because I want to watch this. We can usually see from this camera lightning in the distance. This is looking over toward the west. I just want to kind of keep it here for a minute to see if we see any of that lightning from the distance from those storms out to the west. But we're beginning to see some light rain coming down in the city, so light that it's not really showing up here on these cameras. But we're going to see the rain get a little bit heavier in just a little bit, and we most likely will see some of those lightning strikes from the distance as they're getting closer to the metro Atlanta area. We're not seeing any lightning over Rome right now as that main part of the system has moved through. Let me show you a wider view of what we're watching here with those storms. And this puts on the clouds and the now rad features here too. So there's that main part getting closer to the city of Atlanta where we have that. It's one severe thunderstorm warning, but it includes multiple counties. So it's a really large severe thunderstorm warning. That's that leading edge of that main line that keeps moving over toward the east. And then this still back here, Randolph County, you never had a severe thunderstorm warning there, but we still have some really heavy rain coming into areas of Carroll, moving into Hurd. But I don't know if they're going to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for you. We also have to watch this. This is another potent part of that line here, that's south and east of Birmingham, that's going to be moving through Talladega and getting closer to Anniston. That has prompted a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. So we need to watch how that holds together. That maybe would move into Randolph County and then eventually possibly into Heard or also into Troup County if that holds together. But this part of the line is the main part, and I am seeing some signs of weakening with that. If you'll even just notice right here, look at the really red that we had in Rome, and orange and yellow there. And notice that that's kind of shrinking a little bit as it gets closer to the city. Still strong enough to hold on to that severe thunderstorm warning, but I am seeing some signs of weakening. That red not as impressive. Now this still looks pretty impressive here, back into Carroll County, moving into parts of Heard County, and then this does too, back into Alabama. So we'll see if Randolph and Heard get impacted by this one here, south of I-20 there, and south and east of Birmingham. But yes, still have a severe thunderstorm warning here over on the west side, but I kind of like what I'm seeing as we put this into motion here and seeing some of that red and even the thickness of the line shrinking up just a little bit. But we still have some of those notches that we're watching there along that line that we have to keep an eye on for any potential for if any rotation could develop. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we're just seeing some little signals that we have to watch there along that area. But I do also like what I'm seeing with this as we've widened out a little bit more, seeing that red part shrink just a little bit, the lightning count coming down just a little bit with that, and maybe once this gets into the city of Atlanta, we'll have to wait and see if they're going to issue another severe thunderstorm warning there down the line as that continues to move through. Let me look here and see. Let's go back to the tornado, not the tornado watch, the severe thunderstorm watch. And as of right now, let me query this here really quick. I do not see that they've added any counties yet. They were talking about potentially adding some counties. Let me query this real quick and see if, yeah, nothing else has been added. This is still in effect until 11. So we'll keep watching this and just wait and see if they are issuing any, a new severe thunderstorm watch. But we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and just waiting to see if any additional, here, let me do a couple things here. Here it is in motion, all right? And then here it is live. While I'm here, let's do another lightning count. Now, I really think that a lot of that lightning count is coming from that storm south and east of Birmingham. Let's go on over here. We've got 194 lightning strikes now. So again, this has been fluctuating, was 189 in the 220s. Now we're at 194, just kind of watching that number of lightning strikes. I really don't call for any weakening. Like if I saw this go from 194 to 150 to 120 to 98 to 80, that would be a sign of weakening. So this is just one initial little bit of slight, the number coming down a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see if that is a trend there as these storms continue to move a little bit closer to us. And they are getting closer to Atlanta, about to move into West Cobb, all right? Let's get in tighter here to that leading edge. Okay, right here, this is the part that we are watching here. This leading edge, this is over Dallas, there in areas of Paulding County. Here is West Cobb. So that leading edge right here is about to move into West Cobb. This moves down into Douglas County. We have some heavier showers, some storms there, moving into Douglasville. Villarica, you've been dealing with some of that heavier rain. Here's that leading edge through Carroll County. This is now about to go from Douglas to South Fulton, and then to this little part there of Coweta County, where we see that line getting closer to north of Noonan. Some of that heavier rain about to move into those areas too. So I'm going to try to put up our a couple of our tower cams. Let me see what I have here on remote 59. This is Metro Atlanta. Let me look at remote 60. I think I have Coweta there. Okay, so this is Noonan here in Coweta County, where you can see the raindrops on the lens. You see the rain coming down there in Noonan, and that's the beginning. Okay, you see some lightning there too. That's what I wanted to see. This is actually looking toward the north and east. So the lightning is really over kind of behind me here, but you can still see the flashes that are coming in. But we're going to see some heavier rain coming into Noonan in just a bit. And that's all part of that severe thunderstorm warning, really from Noonan northward into the northern parts of Coweta County, where we see some of that continues moving through. Okay, so there we go with that radar. Let's go back here to our live radar with the sweep going there, and just really keep an eye on that. I want you guys to watch that as I try to get here some other tower cams going. Hang with me for just a minute. Okay, let me take you back to Noonan here. Actually, I'm going to give you a little tour of our tower cams. All right, while we're on here streaming, as we watch that line continuing to move in from the west. So I'm just going to give you a tour of some of our tower cams. Some of these are going to be dark, all right? So here we are in Rome right now, okay? Let me take you over to the east. Compare this in northwest Georgia to what we're seeing in Athens right now. And there's Athens, where it's dry but cloudy. You can see the lights on at Sanford Stadium. We're looking southward over North Campus. There's Sanford Stadium right there. But it's dry right now in Athens. It's going to take a while for any of that rain to move in. This is going to be a dark camera of Echo Park Speedway. All right, really dark. Nothing going on there in Hampton right now. Here's a look at on the north end of the perimeter. This is at Truist Park. All right, we see some raindrops on the lens. So this is the light rain coming down ahead of that main line that will be pushing into Cobb County and will be moving in on the west side of the perimeter. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect there. Look at that, they're checking out the lights here. And we have lightning going on too. So that is a light show there over Truist Park. Did y'all see that? They were trying out the lights there. And then we had a flash of lightning going on there too. So that looks kind of cool. So that is Truist Park. Okay, see the lights? I wasn't one crazy, I promise there. See, those are the lights that are flashing there in Truist Park. And then we're also seeing some lightning in the sky too. So kind of cool to see that. We also have Blue Ridge up in North Georgia, which is going to show us some raindrops on the lens there in Blue Ridge. A lot of raindrops on the lens there in Blue Ridge. The flag blowing a little bit, but nothing severe in Blue Ridge at this hour. Here's Decatur. This is going to be a dark camera. This is the one that we often show you where you can see this. There's the city skyline right here. Clouds. Rain's going to be moving into Decatur. Light rain coming in there very soon. And here's Noonan. We already showed you Noonan, but here's another look at it. And then I also want to show you on the north side at 285 and Georgia 400. This is about to show up here. This is the King and Queen building. There's 400, 285. This is at Northside Hospital. The deck here that you see is wet on the top. So we've got some light rain coming down, but visibility is still pretty good right there. And I'm just looking to see if we see any lightning there as well. And then I'm going to put this back to the city at Georgia Tech because I expect we're going to see more rain coming into the downtown area very shortly. In fact, there is some light rain coming down there right now ahead of that main line that is still just to the west of us. And that's going to be moving in. It's actually getting closer. Okay, this main line right here. Here is the west side of the perimeter. So it's going to get a little more moderate here on the west side. So there was Truist Park there. This area right here is where we were showing Georgia 400 at Northside Hospital. And then, of course, Noonan right down here is where we're seeing some of that rain coming in. But this is still that heaviest part. I'm hearing thunder at our station now, and it's most likely from this right here, that lightning strike that just happened on the north side. We're hearing the thunder right now in Midtown from that lightning strike there on the north side. So this lightning now is coming inside the perimeter. We're going to see the rain starting to kick up a little bit more. And that heaviest rain, that bowing out part now, is coming out of Bartow County, moving into Cobb County, stretching down into Douglas County, about to move into South Fulton. A good bit of lightning back into Carroll County. I'm still waiting to see if they're going to issue anything, any severe thunderstorm warning for areas of Heard County and Coweta County because of this right here. with that heavier rain that's coming into Coweta County. So still holding together well with some heavy rain continuing to move on in with those areas there over on the west side. You can kind of see that better as I'm driving this here with those storms there right behind my head, continuing to move on over to the east. And let me put this into motion. And there you see it coming in from the west, moving in. And even here on this vantage point, we're seeing this part in Paulding County shrinking just a little bit. It's not ending, it's not falling apart. It's just not as impressive looking as it was earlier, shrinking up a little bit. So still we think it's going to move into Cobb with heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and some strong winds, and also down to Carroll. This lightning is really intensifying here south of Carrollton, moving down into parts of Coweta, also into Heard County, getting closer to Troup County, and still holding on to a lot of that lightning back there south of Talladega and into Salakua area, Sylacauga area back there to the west of Lineville. As this all continues to move through our area. So really, for Metro Atlanta, we have one large severe thunderstorm warning that includes multiple counties. And this is going to be in effect here. Let me put it back up on the screen. And severe thunderstorm warning. This will be in effect until 10:45 for Cobb, Coweta, Douglas, Fulton, parts of Coweta County. There, we mentioned that. And into Fulton County. So that's the main part. This is what has been prompting the severe thunderstorm warnings for our area, coming from West Georgia, now moving into the metro area. And now, really, that strongest part is about to bear down here on the west side of the perimeter in just a few minutes here. Let's pull this down just a little bit and go in a little bit tighter. So this leading edge, this is the part that's prompting the severe. That's about to move into Cobb. It really is into West Cobb right now. And then western Fulton County will be next. Also Douglas County, South Fulton, and here into Carroll County. Just watching that as it keeps moving on over to the east. And then coming into the west side of the perimeter, really within the next few minutes, let's say between now and 10:45 to 10:50, they're on the west side of the perimeter and then pushing into Atlanta. So big question is, will the National Weather Service keep this as a warning? Now, notice here, as I'm looking at velocity, earlier we were watching for any notches that could develop there with that. Let me take this, well, we can see this good. This has almost become a little more disorganized as well. We were seeing a pretty good line. And this is still a bowing out part of this with some heavier winds where it's bowing out, some stronger winds. But it's looking a little more frazzled here along that line as it moves in. And I'm not really seeing the notches that we were watching a little bit earlier, but still something to watch. Again, we see a lot of times storms ramp up in intensity and then come back down a little bit, then ramp back up. But I'm looking for any kind of signs as this gets closer to Atlanta that we could potentially be seeing any weakening. And I am seeing some weakening potentially there on the reflectivity as we put that into motion. Still a lot of red with that, but not as much as we had a little bit earlier. So the big question is going to be, when this expires at 10:45, will they issue another warning as this comes into the city of Atlanta? And whether or not we'll have additional threats there as it moves through, or if this will be just some good heavy rain with winds, that could still be 40 to 50 miles an hour, but whether or not they're going to be below that severe status is the main thing that we're going to be watching here. So I'm going to step out of the shot for just a moment and check here with the National Weather Service. They just updated that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me tell you what they're saying here about that. It looked like it shrunk up just a little bit. I'm looking here. Okay, hold on. Where they have canceled the warning for South Central Bartow. They still have the warning remaining in effect for until 10:45 for southeastern Paulding, southeastern Carroll, southern Cobb, Douglas, northwestern Coweta, and southwestern Fulton counties. Let me see if they're still saying tour possible. Okay, they no longer are indicating TOR possible with that. That's a good sign that that notch that we were watching there just a few minutes ago that made them include that TOR possible tag. The TOR possible tag is no longer in this warning, which is a good sign there too. They are showing the main threats being pockets of heavy rain and 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, and this is moving southeast at 40. The strongest part of this, according to the National Weather Service here, and that's really what I was pointing out to you just a few moments ago, where severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from Powder Springs here, all right, through near Chapel here to Plant Yates, moving southeast at 40 miles an hour. So that is the latest on this. Let me put it back to the mode that I want to get to with this. And just to make sure that they're not sharing anything in their other channel. Let me look here near Powder Springs. Look at velocity really quick. So no, that doesn't really look alarming here, what we're seeing around Powder Springs. Let me see what the National Weather Service here is saying about a little notch potentially around here. Doesn't really look that concerning based on what I'm seeing. Let me wait and see what the National Weather Service is going to say about that. But elsewhere, we really don't see, you know, this would be this little area here where you see the green and reds kind of coming together, and whether or not that's trying to develop a hook or not. Doesn't look that impressive to me right now, but the National Weather Service is keeping an eye on that. That would be north of Mableton. And again, this is all just to the west of Atlanta, the area that we're watching here. And let's go back to reflectivity, where this is all good rain. And again, the rain part of that doesn't look impressive. This really on the south side is looking heavier, that we have to keep an eye on. And again, I'm looking at my National Weather Service chat here to see if we have a reply on that question. So still really heavy rain here on the south side for those areas of Heard County moving into Coweta County. A good bit of thunder and lightning there along with that too. And that's moving into Coweta. But there's no warning here right now in Heard or moving down into Troop or that western part of Coweta. The warning still is from Carroll, northern Coweta, up to the north there into parts of Cobb County, as well as into western Fulton, western central Fulton, and into South Fulton County, where we're watching that main area move through. And even that doesn't look as impressive as it did a little while ago. The Weather Service is really confirming what I was just saying to you guys a few minutes ago, that they've been watching a few sketchy looking notches and nubs along the leading edge of the line. And we haven't really had any defined couplets. These have just been kind of sloppy looking little notches or nubs within that leading edge. Nothing really that stands out that is too alarming with it. And that would be enough of confidence to issue any type of a tornado warning or anything. So that's what we're watching there along that line. Again, this warning is going to be in effect until 10:45. So as you can see, okay, I'm just hearing some pretty heavy rain on our roof right now. This is the leading edge right here. This is more moderate rain coming into the city of Atlanta right now, but it's going to get heavier with this. And again, this line doesn't look as impressive right now as it did earlier when it was back into West Georgia. We're kind of seeing the northern part of this maybe breaking up a little bit. Still heavy rain, thunder and lightning into Cobb, moving into Douglas, pushing into South Fulton. Really heavy rain in Carroll, also northern Coweta, and also back into Heard County. But there's no warning back in Heard County. So it's going to be interesting to see if the National Weather Service is going to potentially expand that warning once it gets into the city of Atlanta, or if this is going to go below severe status. But still maybe, as we mentioned earlier, 40 to 50 mile an hour winds rather than 60 mile an hour winds. In order for a storm to be classified as severe, you have to have winds of 57 miles an hour or greater, or hail an inch in diameter or larger. And we're not seeing really much hail with this. but we have been seeing the winds at 60 miles an hour or greater, and it's going to be interesting to see if those winds hold together, pushing into the city of Atlanta. Now, they took out Bartow County from this. Western Paulding is not, hasn't been included in this warning for a while, but that southern part of Bartow County is no longer included in this severe thunderstorm warning. So we've got about 14 more minutes for this warning to expire and for us to see whether or not they're going to issue a new warning downstream. Also, we have been watching the severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 11 o'clock. They had talked about potentially expanding that warning more down to the south, but it still is including these main areas here, going down to Meriwether County, Coweta County, Fayette, Clayton, DeKalb, Fulton, Bartow, that line to the west, including Cleburne and Randolph. That's where the severe thunderstorm watch is supposed to be in effect until 11 o'clock. So over the next 30 minutes, we're going to be getting a lot of answers here as to whether or not the watch would be extended more down toward the south and east, and also, I don't know if y'all just heard that thunder right over us here, also whether or not the warning that is going to expire at 10:45 will be expanded over to the east too. The thunder you just heard is from that lightning strike right there. We are located right north of the downtown connector where it splits up 85, right here off of that part of Monroe right here. That thunder you just heard was this lightning strike from that lightning strike right here. There's been another lightning strike up north of the city, maybe up closer to Buckhead, getting closer to Sandy Springs, and then still more lightning in Cobb, Douglas, back into South Fulton, moving down into areas of Coweta County, parts of Carroll County, still seeing some of that good lightning coming in too. So I'm feeling, even though we still have the heavy rain, and I've been looking at this structure of this storm, tracking it all the way through Alabama, coming into northwest Georgia. And even though we still have rain, we still have lightning with it, I really feel like this is weakening based on the structure that we've been seeing. Even though this still is heavy rain back into Carroll and Coweta County, we've got a lot of lightning back into Heard. It's really going to be telling coming up at 10:45 as to whether or not they are going to issue another severe thunderstorm warning as this moves into Atlanta, or if they would issue what they call a special weather statement, which is less than a severe thunderstorm warning, but still a statement to tell people you need to be aware of this. And that's when they could say this has winds of now 40 to 50 miles an hour rather than 60 miles an hour. So those are going to be the big questions that we're going to be able to have answered hopefully very soon. But this part of the structure does not look as impressive as it did earlier, just as it's about to move into the city of Atlanta. This still looks pretty active though in Carroll, South Fulton, and northern Coweta County. More lightning, more heavy rain with that. But the winds with that back into Heard have not been up to severe status yet, but it could grow and become that. While we're here, let's go back to, well, let's put this in motion. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about here, how 2 hours ago, that looked a lot more impressive coming into West Georgia, where we had the numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, the numerous counties there in it. And now, as this is moving in here, yes, still lightning, but we're not seeing a lot of that red and a lot of that more organized look of the system. This is looking a little more, I don't want to say dirty, but just not as organized as it was. This part still is, though, looking impressive on the south side. So we'll see if they're going to maybe issue a warning down here on the south side, but whether or not they continue this warning into and east of the city of Atlanta, that's going to be the big question that we'll have answered here most likely at or before 10:45, because this warning that you see right here is going to expire at 10:45, and if they're going to issue a new warning, they would probably be doing that within the next few minutes downstream or a little bit more over to the east, or if they're going to decide to stay with special weather statements as this moves through. And all along, we were thinking that this would weaken somewhat. And again, I'm looking here at my National Weather Service chat to see if they're giving us any new information. Okay, after some new collaboration with SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, we're going to let the watch expire at 11. And okay, also they're going to let this current severe thunderstorm warning expire at 10:45 and follow up with a special statement. And that's exactly pretty much what I was thinking there just a few minutes ago, that this does not look as impressive as it did. This will expire at 10:45, but they're going to keep following these storms as they move in. Okay, look at that. Did you hear that? I don't know if y'all could hear that over us. Let me zoom in tighter. You will see there's another. Okay, there's a second. So the thunder we heard a minute ago was from that, and here's the one we just heard from that lightning strike right there, right over our building here at 11 Alive. That thunder really loud with this part right here. So what I want you to understand is the Weather Service is saying as this severe thunderstorm warning expires at 10:45, as of right now, they do not have a plan to, let me make sure I'm reading it correctly here. And let me give them a thumbs up here on that message. They're going to let this expire at 10:45, and instead of issuing another warning through Atlanta or over into Cobb County or into parts of Clayton County or into northern Henry County, they're going to start issuing, instead of a severe thunderstorm warning, they will issue a special weather statement saying that, hey, you still have some heavy rain and winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour, but this is not as strong as it was, and it's not to severe criteria. As I mentioned, this would have to have winds of 60 miles an hour or greater, or 57 to 58 mile an hour winds or greater. So far, we've been dealing with 60 mile an hour winds here, but this is coming below that criteria. Also, the other criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning would be hail of an inch in diameter or larger. If one of those is met, 57 to 58 miles an hour or greater, or hail of an inch in diameter or greater, then you would have a severe thunderstorm warning. But now that this is not as impressive as it was, you're still going to have heavy rain coming through Atlanta. You're still going to have thunder and lightning. You're still going to have winds that could be 40 to 50 miles an hour, but that would be just below severe criteria. So that's their plan as this continues moving closer to us. As we can really see that this is pretty much beginning to fall apart a good bit and not be as strong as it was. Also, those little notches that we were watching are not as impressive as they were. Now, I do want to tell you, in Coweta County, I mean, this is still some heavy rain coming out of Heard going into Coweta. A large area, very heavy rain and thunder and lightning. That's going to keep moving through. So that's going to impact you in Fayette County. So, keep watching here. I just also got a notification that they are updating the severe thunderstorm watch, canceling. Let me see what they're saying here. Canceling Bartow, Cherokee, Floyd, Harrelson, and Polk. So they're canceling. Let me show it to you here. Okay, so it looks like the whole thing disappeared. They're allowing the other counties to expire, but it also just disappeared. Hold on. Let me put this back up here so we can see. I have two different ways of looking at these. Hold on. Okay, look at the watch warning. So I'm going to show you first the original. This was the original watch, all right? And now they are canceling multiple counties. I'm showing you the different thing here. Canceling and expiring multiple counties here. So the watch will no longer be in effect. So that is a good thing that we can watch now as this line of storms moves in. So really, this just kind of reiterates what I've been telling you here with the how it looks like that everything is weakening as this continues to move in. Now, I say weakening, but now over our building, we have some really heavy rain coming in, but this is just not classified as severe coming in to the area. So here's what we have. It's coming a little bit tighter. I'm going to take the lightning off so you can see that polygon a little bit better and see all the reds within that. Again, not as impressive as it was a little while ago. Still heavy rain in Coweta County coming in, though, there near Noonan. And that's the heaviest part. Winds there, maybe 40 to 50 miles an hour, but below severe status. This warning that you see here, the yellow polygon, it's 1041 right now. We're going to see this disappear here at 1045, and they're going to follow up with additional severe statements, or actually SPSs, storm prediction statements there, special weather statements. I'm sorry here, I've been talking a lot. Special weather statements here as this comes through, still with some 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, but this is coming below severe status. So we did have severe storms with this coming in from the west, but now we're seeing signs of weakening. It's coming below severe status, but we will have special statements coming in indicating still we need to watch this with the heavy rain that's going to be with it. So that's going to keep pushing on off to the east for the rest of the nighttime hours tonight, but it's not going to be as strong over on the east side as it was over in West Georgia or here into the Atlanta area. So heavy rain still coming down with this, but the good news is this warning is about to expire here. It's still a lot of lightning. While I'm here, let's go back to this live mode. And let's look at the lightning count with that for all of North Alabama, from Birmingham over toward Athens, 217. So it's coming back up a little bit. But I really think that's because of this on the south side that has increased our lightning count, where those lightning numbers have come up a little bit here on the south side. And still a lot of lightning from Cobb into central Fulton County. But we're seeing this fall below severe status as it continues to move on over to the east with the severe thunderstorm warning that is about to expire. Let me take the lightning off one more time. So again, this is going to disappear on your screen here in just a matter of minutes, but that doesn't mean the weather is over. Still heavy rain, still thunder and lightning, still some gusty winds, but these are going to now be just below the criteria needed for severe thunderstorm warning. So ironically, just as this is moving into Atlanta, it's weakening somewhat. This part in Coweta County, still some really heavy rain coming down, but we're going to see that polygon expire here in just a minute. So what I'm going to do when this expires, are y'all, I don't know if they can hear me back in digital, and also for our director, because I know we're going to come down from this live feed that we're doing right now from our studio. Our web team is going to put up the radar, so you can still watch that. We just have to take a little 15-minute break between now and 11 o'clock so our director can get everything ready for our show tonight at 11 o'clock. I need to get all of my stuff together for the 11 o'clock show as well. And so we're going to take a little 15-minute break, but you are still going to be able to see radar on this channel here to watch this rain moving through. I'm just not going to be talking about it because I'm going to be preparing our graphics here and get everything ready for our 11 o'clock show, and our director will be getting everything ready for the 11 o'clock show too. So really, this is going to expire here. You're going to see that polygon disappear here in a matter of seconds. There it goes. It just disappeared right there at 10:45. So no longer any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. They are canceling and the tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch, and allowing the rest of those counties to expire at 11 o'clock. So no watches. We're just going to have special weather statements issued from the National Weather Service as we keep watching the heavy rain, thunder, and lightning move through, and some of those winds, 40 to 50 miles an hour, but at least below that severe status. So thanks for joining us for these extended weather updates here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. Taking just a short break, but then we're going to be joining you again at 11 o'clock for our newscast, 11 Alive News at 11, on television on 11 Alive and right here on 11 Alive Plus. Thanks for watching these extended weather updates here as we're tracking these storms moving through the metro area.